Lux Presents Hollywood was the opening line for one of the best radio programs of the golden days of radio. A South African version of Lux Radio Theatre ran on Springbok Radio between 1950 and 1985. While having the same name and sponsor, it departed from the American show in that, additionally, British and Australian works were adapted into the hour-long radio formats. Many of the early episodes were direct rebroadcasts of the Australian programs. Lux Radio Theatre was the most enduring show on Springbok Radio, running from the first night of the network's broadcasting life until 6 months before it went off the air.
Good evening. This is Peter Tobin introducing Lux Radio Theatre. Tonight and every Monday night at this time, Lux Radio Theatre presents for your entertainment the finest in radio drama. Tonight we present Stranger in the House by Michael Clayton Hutton. And here to introduce the play is your producer, Victor Mackerson.
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Clayton Hutton's Stranger in the House is a thriller with a difference. The story of Miles and Ruth, a married couple whose past is shrouded in mystery. A mystery which deepens when a stranger enters their lives to plague them with memories which were best left buried in the past. Our stars tonight are Anthony James and Sheila Holliday as Miles and Ruth. Raina is played by Tony Jay, and as Diana, you will hear Diane Wilson. In just a few moments, the curtain will be going up on tonight's Lux Radio Theatre presentation, Stranger in the House.
Hollywood film star Debbie Reynolds has this to say about new Lux Beauty Soap.
Lux is the loveliest way I know to help keep my skin beautifully soft all over. And I'm sure you'll love its perfume as much as I do.
New shape, new perfume, new creamy lather. Now, more than ever, Lux is the beauty soap of the stars. They know that luxurious new Lux really is the perfect beauty care. It's so creamy and gentle, wonderful for the complexion. So take a tip from Hollywood's famous stars and discover for yourself the luxury of new Lux, a beauty treatment every time you bath.
And now we present Act One of tonight's Lux Radio Theatre presentation, Stranger in the House.
I can't move this cork in the sherry bottle.
Yeah, let me help you.
Miles, please. Let my hand go.
Oh, very well, Diana. That's the way you want it.
It is. I know Ruth's only your wife, but she's my oldest friend, and I'm a guest in her house.
I'm sorry. Forgive me?
Oh, Miles.
If you're angry, I shan't enjoy my New Year's Eve. You'd hate me not to enjoy it, now wouldn't you?
All right, you're forgiven, but...
I know. Don't let it happen again.
Don't.
Well, let's have a drink. We'll all have one, actually.
Well, everything seems to be in order in the kitchen. Does it, Ruth? Is that sherry?
Yes, I poured you one.
It's stormy outside, isn't it? Still, one must expect a bit of weather when one has a house that's built on a cliff top, mustn't one? And I do think this is the most heavenly house. Are you glad to be back in England? Yes, we are, aren't we, Miles?
6 years is a long time.
I can't think why you stayed away so long. You go off for a year and stay 6.
That's the way it go abroad.
We just sort of drifted, didn't we, darling? Every month or so we kept saying we must come back. And as there wasn't any real reason for coming back, we didn't, that's all. Nice work, you can get it. Oh, darling. My preference shares just go on working and working, and I might as well spend what money I've got. Just for fun, I worked it out the other day, and it's going to cost me nearly $60,000 to die. Well, as it is, it costs me 19 and 6 in the pound to live, so what's one to do?
Will you stop chattering? 19 to the dozen. And drink your drink.
Oh, I know. I nearly forgot.
What?
We must let it in.
Let what in?
The new year, of course.
Why did it come in by itself?
There's a ceremony. We really must do it. Oh, but I forget what it is.
Oh, that's a help.
I'll go and look it up for you. Where? Well, in fact, it's here, of course. That's where it's for.
What's the matter, Ruth?
Nothing at all, darling.
What are you smiling about?
It's just looking at you.
Oh. Are you pleased with what you see?
Very pleased. I was thinking about something that Diana said just now. Nice work if you can get it.
What about it?
It suddenly reminded me how spoiled I am. Too much money and not very much sense.
You've got to be jolly clever to have too much money these days. I should leave the sense to other people.
I can't help it, you know. I feel like saying to people, I can't help being rather a silly woman. I can't help not having very much brain, and the money was left to me.
That sherry's gone to your head.
And then there's you.
What about me?
Oh, people ought not to be in love after 6 years of marriage. Sometimes I think it's all too good to last.
Ruth, I have something to tell you.
Something nice?
No, not Betty.
Oh?
Diana.
What about her?
In the words of our cheaper novelists, I made a pass at her. Last night, after you'd gone upstairs.
Why?
I don't know quite. She was there, looking very attractive. And a man.
In love with his wife?
Yes,
What a silly thing to do.
I know. Is that all you're going to say?
I'm not going to throw a stone, if that's what you mean.
You really are an extraordinary woman. I do believe that if I went off for a thoroughly bad weekend, the first thing you'd say when I came in would be, have you had your breakfast?
If you had been off for one, nothing I could say could make any difference, could it?
Did I hear you say just now that you were a stupid woman?
I suppose there must be degrees of stupidity, that's all.
Prove that. You know, I've been thinking about practicing again.
You mean medicine?
Yeah. Would you mind?
And you've forgotten it all. 6 years is a long time. It'd be too awful if you went and gave everyone the wrong bottle.
I don't think I'd do that.
Anyway, I was the nicest patient you ever had. And what's more, I always paid my bills at once.
Yes, only because you could then send for me on the slightest pretext.
Don't be telling me I chased you next.
But you did. You were the scandal of Westover. I'm sorry, darling.
That's all right.
It slipped out. The name.
It's all right, dear. Don't go on about it.
Well, I've hurt you now, haven't I?
Miles,
Yes?
I love you very much.
Still?
Yes, still. And you?
Still, darling.
It's been worth it, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, Ruth. It's been worth it.
Say, there's some terribly interesting things in this encyclopedia.
Are there, Diana?
Did you find the rules for... Oh, I didn't have to. I suddenly remembered. A dark man has to go outside and carry a piece of coal in.
What, in all that rain?
It stopped raining. And you're dark. And a man.
You're mad, the pair of you.
You ring the bell, and then we let you in, and you wish us a happy new year, and march through the house and go out.
Well, then what do I do? Spend the night in the coal shed?
Then you come in, and we'll give you an enormous drink. Now, you better go out and find a nice piece of coal.
But it isn't midnight yet.
I know, but we must have a rehearsal.
Oh, dear. Which door do I go to?
The back, it's a sort of symbol. You know, the year that sits the back of us. No, you're wrong, dear. It's the front.
You wouldn't like me to run round the house chanting carols, would you?
Well, try the back. And if that isn't right, we'll know, and then you can try the front. Now go along and find the coal.
I have a feeling that all this is going to end in terrible disaster.
Oh, dear, I am out of practice. No. It's pretty. What is it? I like it. Etude by Chopin. Nice. Ruth? Yes? I'm so glad everything turned out so well for you both. Thank you. There's something else. I know Diana. Miles told me. You didn't think he would? No, I didn't. He goes up in my estimation for that. We tell each other everything. That's Miles now. Don't get up. I'll go. There's no one here. at the back. Well, I'll see you. Go on playing. What are you doing, Miles, darling? Diana's gone round the back to let you in. Don't be tiresome, dear. Do shut that door. There's a terrible draught. Miles,
Good evening, ma'am. The door wasn't properly closed.
Can I help you?
Well, ma'am, you could ask me in for a moment. I mean, out of this rain. Which it is.
I'm afraid I can't ask you in because...
Oh, too. Fighting it is, ma'am.
I know all that, but...
And it's New Year's Eve.
Very well, but only for a minute.
Nice. Very nice, ma'am.
What is?
This room. Great taste, if I may say so, ma'am. Oh, dear. Oh, sorry about that, ma'am.
That's a very nasty cough you have.
That's me heart, ma'am.
Sounded more liquid than that. Tell me, what can I do for you?
Well, I seem to have got myself lost, ma'am. I saw your light.
If it wasn't for your heart, I'd offer you a drink.
One won't hurt, ma'am. If you have such a thing, brandy would be very nice.
More one?
Oh, ma'am.
Hi. There you are.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, and for heaven's sake, stop calling me ma'am.
Calling you what, ma'am?
Ma'am. Now, why were you walking around out in the rain?
I had to, miss, to get this.
What is this? I can't see what's inside that paper.
A plant, miss. Grows up on the edge of the cliff. I'm a sort of authority on cliff plants, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's nothing to do with me, but isn't it rather silly in your condition to go climbing around cliffs in the rain?
Oh, ma'am, sorry, I mean Mrs.
Curzon. Mrs. Curzon. You know what this fool of a husband of it. Now, I fear this gentleman seems to be lost.
Evening, sir. Good evening. Evening, miss.
Good evening.
I'm sorry to burst in on you like this, sir. I want to get a lesson.
Well, that's a good 10 or 12 miles.
Oh, as much as that, sir? Oh, well, I must be off or I'll never make it tonight. You don't know what time the buses go, do you?
No, I'm afraid I don't. You see, we've only been here a very short time. A week, actually, so we haven't found out any of this sort of thing.
I hate to say it, but I think you'll find the last one is gone.
Oh. Oh, dear me. Oh, well, never mind. Done more walking than most in my time. Thanks for the drink, ma'am. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Curzon.
Not at all. Good night, Mr.
Rayner. Charlie Rayner. R-A-Y-N-O-R.
Good night, Mr. Rayner.
Oh, before I go, what time is...
Well. Is there something the matter, Mr. Rayner?
That clock on the mantelpiece.
A very beautiful clock.
Yes, miss. Very beautiful.
You study clocks as well as cliff plants, Mr. Rayner?
Oh, sometimes, you know, Mrs. Curzon. Not all the time, of course. But now and then one catches me fancy.
And my clock catches your fancy?
Yes, Mrs. Curzon.
Why?
Because it's only the second like it I've seen.
There, you're wrong, because there isn't another like it. I found it in a tiny village in Italy about 10 years ago. It's quite unique.
Is that so now? Unique? Well, I could have sworn I'd seen one like it somewhere.
Well, I'm afraid you haven't.
Let me think, sir. Those little cherubs the clock's mounted on. Isn't one of the arrows missing? One of the arrows that little boy has got in his...
As a matter of fact, it is, yes. It was missing and I got it in the first place.
And one of the little boys turns round on his base.
Yes, but...
And underneath him there's a little drawer for a key.
Yes, there is. That's quite correct, but...
Still, there it is. And talking about clocks won't get me to Latham, will it now?
No, it won't, will it, Mr. Rayner?
I hope I haven't upset you, Mrs. Curzon.
Upset me? No. What makes you think that?
Well, you've gone quite pale. Quite sudden. Well, thank you again, and good night.
Mr. Rayner, You'll probably think I'm very silly, but could you remember just where you saw this clock? Or one like it?
Mr. Rayner will never get to Latham, dear, if you don't let him go now.
I won't keep him a minute, darling, but I would like to know.
You know, ma'am, I can't for the life of me remember where it was.
Do please think carefully, very carefully. It's very important.
No good. Afraid I can't remember. I'm very sorry I can't help you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Really, Ruth, you do go on.
Sorry, Miles, but I was curious and... Oh, dear.
What is it now?
He's left it behind.
Left what behind?
His plant. He'll be so upset. Miles, dear.
No. Much as I love you, no. I'm prepared to carry coals to Newcastle for you in the pouring rain on New Year's Eve. But I am not chasing down the road after an old drunk with a bit of seaweed.
Oh, look, it's nearly 12. Oh, Miles, hurry up.
For what?
Well, get that piece of coal from the kitchen table and go outside again.
Oh.
I'm not going to have my New Year ruined by some dreadful old man of the night. Well, go on, Miles. You just stand there. Look at the clock.
Oh, I've had enough of that confounded clock for one day, thank you. All right, I'm good.
Oh, now then, Ruth. Don't stand there as though you were in a trance.
I'm all right.
Of course you are. I'll go and chase Miles outside.
The clock. Does he know? Can he know? Oh,
I'm sorry, ma'am.
back again, Mr. Rayner?
Yes, you see, I forgot...
I know your plant. Here it is.
Oh, Mrs. Curzon, I've suddenly remembered where I saw it.
The clock?
Yes.
Have you, Mr. Rayner?
Yes, it was a small village. Nowhere you'd know. A little village down in Devon called...
Westover.
That's right. Pretty little place.
Yes, a pretty little place.
I fancy you knowing that.
My husband and I used to live in Westover a long time ago.
When you were first married to Mr. Curzon?
No. I lived there with my first husband.
So this is your second attempt, so to speak?
Yes, this is my second attempt, as you call it.
Unpleasant thing, divorce, Mrs. Curzon.
There was no need for a divorce, Mr. Rayner. Perhaps you'd like something to eat before you go.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Mrs. Curzon.
If you'd like to go into the kitchen, I'll get you something.
Mrs. Curzon, why have you offered me food?
Because I thought you'd be hungry.
Is that the only reason?
Of course, what other reason could there be?
That's funny.
Why?
Because I knew you would ask me. I'll go into the kitchen, Mrs. Curzon.
Well, I think Miles round to the front. Ah, here he comes now.
Miles?
Yes?
Miles,
What's the matter, darling?
Mr. Rayner has come back. He's in the kitchen.
Well, then I'll give him something to eat and send him packing.
Darling, what's the matter with you? You're dreadful.
He remembered where he saw the clock before.
Didn't you? Well, what?
Westover. Miles, he said Westover was a pretty place. Darling, don't you see?
Please, darling, pull yourself together. Happy New Year, Ruth.
A happy New Year, Miles.
Paper?
The paper? No, Diana, I haven't. Perhaps Mr. Rayner has it. By the way, where is he?
10 minutes ago, he was eating his fourth kipper. I expect he's gone weed hunting again. I hope he falls over the cliff.
Diana.
I mean it. Of course, I think he's gone stark raving mad. You realize that man has now been in this house for 4 whole days.
He's going this morning.
Who said so?
Miles. He's going to tell him before lunch.
Why you had to ask him to say it all, I can't imagine.
Diana, it was a terrible night, and it was New Year's Eve. Oh, he looked so miserable and wretched. It all sounds most peculiar to me. What does? All that nonsense about his having to get to Leyston. You haven't mentioned the place since. It's perfectly clear he's a very well-organized tramp who gets a very nice living like this. Then how do you explain the clock? There's nothing to explain. He obviously had a good look at it while you were getting him his drink. Then how did you know about Westover? He didn't. You admitted that yourself. You said you supplied the name for him. Maybe you're right. Anyway, he's going today. And he hasn't really been much trouble. Well, apart from the fact that he eats like a horse, has waited on hand and foot, coughs and spits all over the house, and drunk 2 whole bottles of brandy and hides the morning paper. Apart from that, I should say he was the perfect guest for a long weekend. Having said my piece, would you like some tea? Yes. Yes, thank you, Diana. I just want to see what there is for lunch. I'm taking it upstairs. Come up when you're ready. Thanks, Diana.
Ruth, look what I've been digging out.
What on earth is all that?
Odds and ends from the surgery. I packed them away in this box before we left.
What are they?
Oh, let me see now. This one's zinc ointment.
That awful-looking thing, what's that?
A scalpel. I did my first operation with that and kept it as a souvenir.
And that blue jar?
That's morphia.
I thought morphia was a liquid.
It can be either. What are we having for lunch?
Sardines, I'm afraid.
Then I'll tell you what you can do. Give the morphia to Raina for lunch. It should be delicious with sardines.
Oh, put it away and don't make too much mess. I'm going to have some tea with Diana.
All right. Oh, you're back.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. That'll be the death of me.
You shouldn't walk up it then, should you?
Oh, must have a breath of fresh air after breakfast. That's better. Nice armchair in front of a warm fire.
Must you cough like that, Mr. Raynor?
Can't help coughing now, can I?
This brandy might help.
Those doctor's orders.
They could be, yes.
That reminds me. I must ask the good lady for another blanket. Quite chilly I was last night.
You won't be needing another blanket.
Oh?
No.
Now, what does that mean, I wonder?
It means that you're leaving this house today.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Oh, this needs a bit of thinking about, this does. You can't just turn a man out into the street.
There's a perfectly satisfactory bus service that will take you to Latham.
I don't think I've got my fare.
It'll give me the greatest pleasure in the world to present you with your fare.
Oh, well, this has come as a shock. Yes, indeed, it has given me quite a turn. I think I shall have to have just a small brandy.
If you so much as touch that decanter, Mr. Raynor, I shall knock it out of your hand.
Now, that would be a silly thing to do, wouldn't it? Hitting a sick man. And if you did that, the sick old man would have to turn a bit nasty now, wouldn't he?
Mr. Raynor, if you are not out of this house within 1 hour, I shall call the police and have you thrown out.
And what will you tell them, Mr. Curzon?
The truth?
People who shout about the police never tell them the truth. Not the old truth, anyway. Well, it's up to you.
What's up to me?
Which of us sends for them, Mr. Curzon? Either I stay here and you send for them, or out I go and see them.
And tell them what, may I ask?
Nice material in those curtains. Heavy. Always like heavy material. Nice wood on the piano. Good polish. Mind you, needs tuning a bit from what I've heard. Nice fireplace. Big. I like big grates. Can't be bothered with the modern ones. Comfortable bed in there, beautiful view, see under my window. Good brandy. Brandy's so good for me heart. Nice house. Nice glass. Nice atmosphere. In fact, Mr. Curzon, a very nice house and a very nice life. Now, which of us is going with the police? Who are you? Charles Raynor, who wouldn't hurt a fly. Unless a fly worries him, Mr. Curzon.
And what would you tell the police if you sent for them?
About a necklace your wife was wearing at dinner last night. A necklace with a large sapphire in the center.
What about it?
Just that she shouldn't have that necklace, that's all.
Why not? Why shouldn't a woman have a necklace that's her own?
Because that necklace was supposed to have been stolen, wasn't it?
Stolen by whom?
The man who murdered your wife's first husband.
Murder?
But you wouldn't know about that. How could you? Your wife's husband was called Brooke, Mr. Curzon. David Brooke. He had a lot of letters after his name to prove he was an architect, but he He didn't need the letters or the money he made because he was a very wealthy gentleman.
You're not telling me anything I don't know, Mr. Rayner.
Well, one fine night, some man comes along, sees a light in the house, knows Mr. Brooke is alone, working on some papers, knows there's a packet of jewellery in his desk. Mrs. Brooke's jewellery. So, what does that man do, Mr. Curzon? He enters the house, kills Mr. Brooke, and vanishes into the night with the jewellery.
Mr. Rayner, what are you trying to do? For 6 years, my wife and I have tried to escape from that story. Why are you bringing it back into this house?
It was in this house already.
How?
That necklace Mrs. Curzon was wearing last night was part of the stolen jewellery.
The police recovered the jewellery.
Not all of it, Mr. Curzon. They never recovered a necklace with a large sapphire set in it.
How did you know what they recovered and what they didn't recover?
Oh, I know. I know better than most. Because, you see, I was on the case.
You were in the police, Mr. Rayner?
That's right. Attached to the yard. Homicide squad. We were sent down to Westover.
That's why you remembered the clock?
That's right. And I had to check all the stuff that was stolen when we got it back from the pawnbroker.
And the man had pawned it, had he?
Well, what there was of it.
Wasn't there very much?
Not what there should have been. That's what always worried me, what always seemed suspicious.
Why?
Well, look at the matter this way, Mr. Curzon. A man sets out to rob another man. He finds out where the stuff is kept. And yet he only takes the small stuff. He leaves all the big, valuable stuff in another drawer. And don't forget, Mr. Curzon, he had to kill to get the stuff. Now, does a man commit murder for pennies when the pounds are stuck under his nose?
But you said the necklace was stolen.
By mistake.
If a man goes to steal, he doesn't take valuable pieces of jewelry by mistake, Mr. Rayner.
If he goes to steal.
What do you mean?
Only that this man didn't go to steal. He went to murder.
Then why bother to steal anything?
As a blind.
For murder?
Exactly. And having taken the jewellery, he went to pawn it to get rid of it. And because the jeweller would have remembered a face that pawned a valuable piece like that necklace your wife was wearing last night, he took it out of the collection and pawned only the little useless stuff. And the man was right, you know, Miss Curzon. Because although we questioned him for hours, the pawnbroker couldn't remember what the man looked like.
Then what do you think the man did with the necklace?
He kept it.
And how did he get back with the other things when they were returned to my wife?
It was never returned to your wife, Mr. Curzon. It was returned to your wife's doctor. Your wife collapsed at the time with shock. When the jewellery was recovered, it was returned to her doctor.
Indeed. And then he gave it back to my wife. Is that it?
More or less. But in giving it back to her, he also returned the sapphire necklace, which he had kept.
I see. And could you tell me why anyone should want to murder Mr. Brooke?
Why do men ever murder other men, Mr. Curzon? There's always one thing or other, money or women. In this case, it was both. Money mostly, but he couldn't get the money without the woman, so he murdered and then married.
And so you say the doctor murdered Mr. Brooke?
That's right.
And what happened to the doctor then?
He married Mrs. Brooke, Mr. Curzon.
And did Mrs. Brooke know all this?
Oh, no. No. She was in love with the doctor. She was having, for want of a better word, an affair with him, Mr. Curzon.
Surely the return of the necklace with the recovered jewelry could have been very dangerous. What if the woman had mentioned it to the police?
Oh, she was too ill. She didn't even go to the inquest. The next we knew, she'd been taken abroad for her health.
There was a verdict at the inquest?
Robbery with violence. And murder against person or persons unknown, Mr. Curzon.
Tell me something, Mr. Rayner. What was your own theory? Or the theory of the police?
Oh, all of us. But we couldn't prove it.
I gather you left the police, Mr. Rayner?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Well, seeing as we're all being honest, I borrowed some money belonging to the Detectives Benevolent Fund.
You were sacked for theft, in other words?
Crudely, yes.
Isn't it rather odd that the police, sharing your views in this case, have done nothing further about it?
Well, there was nothing they could do, unless...
Unless what?
Unless they found the necklace.
Tell me, Mr. Rayner, are they going to be told where that necklace is now?
Well, now, sir, that rather depends.
How much?
How much what?
Money.
None, Mr. Curzon.
You don't want money?
Good gracious, no, sir.
What in the name of heaven do you want?
A home, sir. A nice home with fires and a garden, with a piano and a bedroom that overlooks the sea. Good food, drink. Nice, friendly couple to look after me.
You mean you want to settle here?
In this house. That's right, sir.
My wife would never leave it.
I don't want you to leave, Mr. Curzon. Now, what would be the sense of that? No, you must stay. I mean, who would see them with food and drink if you left? Who would clean my room and who would I talk to? What would I do in a great big house like this all on my own? Oh, no. You'll stay. And we'll be one big, happy family. Don't you think so, Mr. Curzon?
Please, Miles, don't come near me.
Ruth, we must be calm.
I am calm and quiet. That's what frightens me. I ought to pick up that phone, ask the police, and tell them what you've told me. I ought to ring them and say I'm married to a murderer. Come and take him away. I've never known what people meant when they said they were so frightened that their hearts stood quite still. I know now.
You're frightened of me?
No, not of you. That's the odd thing. Of him.
What are we going to do?
We must get out of this house. We must go somewhere where he can't find us, where he can never touch us.
We can't run away.
Then what do we do? Spend the rest of our lives with that foul creature sitting between us, eating with us, intruding into every part of our life. Is that what we've got to do?
I don't know. I thought until my brain won't think anymore.
Why did you do it?
Because I wanted you so much. And because I've made you happy, I began to believe that in some way I've made up for what I've done.
I've read about it so often, and I never believed it.
Read what?
That a man kills, and then a woman helps him, hides him. And I could never think why they did it. Now, I'm standing here, watching you, noticing all the things I've always noticed. Your hair, your eyes, the way your shoulders curve. I'm standing here and still loving you. Loving you and being afraid for you.
But afraid, Ruth, we shall never get away from him. Never. Do you hear me? Never.
We shall get away from him. If we don't, then each day we shall get a little more apart. A little more of us will die every day. Hate will grow inside us, and finally we shall both die inside, and he'll go on sitting and sitting, and we shall just move about doing what he wants us to do. Miles.
Yes?
Does anyone know he's here?
Only Diana.
Where is she?
She went down to the village.
Anyone else besides Diana?
I don't know. Why?
No one else knows. It won't be so hard.
No, Ruth.
No, what, Miles?
You kept the jar of morphine.
Yes, you can see I have.
Put it down. That isn't the way.
Please don't shout.
Give me that jar at once.
Miles, what has happened has happened. Nothing we can say or think can alter that now. You've made me very happy. Happier than I've ever been. In a strange sort of way, your crime has become my crime. Miles, Rayner said he'd be back for tea. I want to see him alone. Please go upstairs.
On one condition. That you don't do anything silly.
I shall only talk to him.
You promise?
I promise. Now, please, go upstairs. So there you are. I told you not to stay out too long in this wind.
Is that the tea?
Yes, I've just brought the tray in.
Oh, give it to me. I'll take it over by the fire.
No, it's... Oh, now look what you've made me do. I've dropped my handbag.
Oh, dear me. Everything out of it all over the floor. But don't you worry, we'll have it all back in a jiffy.
No, please don't. I can manage. You start your tea. I get clumsier as I get older. Silly place to leave a handbag on the arm of a chair.
I could never understand why you women carry so much junk about with you. Everything here but the kitchen stove. You'd have that in here, too, if there was room.
Yes.
Now, take this jar here. Why, in heaven's name, do you carry that around with you?
That? Oh, that. It's only hand cream. I forgot to leave it upstairs.
Hand cream.
Thank you, Mr. Rayner. Well, I think that's all. Now, sit down here and have your tea.
This is what I call cozy. Nice cup of tea by the fire.
Mr. Rayner, you've been at it again.
Been at what?
The brandy.
Now, look, didn't I promise you?
You promised me twice a day, but the bottle gets lower and lower.
Well...
And I don't like the way you're coughing.
Charlie Rayner. Charlie Rayner will outlive the lot of you. Don't you worry your head about me.
If anything did happen to you, who would I get in touch with?
No one. I haven't got a relative in the world.
I see. That's rather sad. No one at all in the world.
Man's better off without relatives.
In that case, you'll have to let me look after you, won't you? That's why I want you to go straight to bed.
But look, Mrs. Curzon...
It's high time someone took a firm hand with you. I'm going to have your chest looked at in the morning.
Who are you going to get a look at it?
The doctor from the village. Now, go along.
Look at you, bullying me.
You need it.
Listen, if I go upstairs, can I have a brand?
No. Not till I'm told by the doctor that you may.
Now, look, just one won't kill me, will it?
Kill you?
Just one.
Well, we'll see. Perhaps. If you go along upstairs, and I'll get the doctor to come and see you in the morning.
You know something?
What?
I think I like being bullied.
Go along. Up to your room.
All right. And you won't forget what you said, will you, about bringing me...
No, I won't forget. Hello? This is Mrs. Curzon from Clifftop. Could I please speak to Dr. Seaton? Diana, have you seen Rayner?
Rayner? Isn't he in bed? He's been there for a week or more.
Not there now. His overcoat's missing. I expect he's slipped out.
To the pub.
Oh, I imagine so.
Ruth, what's going on in this house?
Nothing as far as I know.
Oh, very well. I've already stayed here far too long. I'll go back to town in the morning.
Oh, no, Diana, please don't.
Oh, Ruth, I'm not a fool. Something sinister's happening here. If I stay, I want to know what it is.
Why do you say that?
Because I think I know why that man is in this house. I believe it's because of a vague, terrible idea I've had in the back of my mind for years.
What sort of terrible idea?
Murder.
Do you have to remind me of that?
Aren't you being reminded of it every day?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Very well, if you're determined to be stubborn. But, oh, do please do one thing for me.
What?
Whatever has happened, whatever is happening, and what is much more important, whatever may happen, don't do anything without thinking, without telling me. Do you understand that, Ruth? Don't do a thing without telling me.
It's still not back, Ruth?
No.
You're exhausted.
Oh, I am.
How is Raina? What did Seaton say today?
About the same, nothing dangerous. Just an alarmingly high blood pressure through drink.
Good.
Yes?
It will have to be tonight.
Must it be tonight?
Neither of us can stand any more of this.
But must it be tonight? Couldn't we just wait a little and...
No, it couldn't be more suitable. An old man with a bad heart, under doctor's orders, plays truant. He gets out of a warm bed on a bitterly cold night. He slips down to the local pub and drinks too much.
He may not be at the pub.
Oh, he will be. He'll be seen drinking heavily.
He hadn't any money with him.
I gave him some money. Rather, I played cards with him and saw that he won. He won £6 from me this afternoon. £6 worth of drink could kill even a healthy man.
You think of everything, don't you, Miles?
I try to, darling. The minstrel boy is wending his way home. When he comes in, humour him and get him to bed.
Supposing it's difficult.
He'll do it for you.
And then?
Take his milk up to him. Stay with him while he drinks it, and then leave him. But remember, stay with him while he drinks it. What have you done
I
with
did
it?
as you told me. I emptied it out of the jar and into the sugar bowl on the tray with the milk.
Give him the milk first of all, without the sugar.
Without sugar.
You'll notice at once that it hasn't any in it. Take the milk back from him, apologize, and then put in the sugar.
How much?
Quantity, I told you.
And then?
Watch him drink it, and then leave him.
And then what shall I do, Miles?
Nothing until the morning. What time is Seaton coming in the morning?
9.
Good. Then you will not wake Raynard in the morning. Or rather, you will not take his breakfast up to him. You'll have it ready at 9, and you'll take Seaton up with you when you go. You will discover Mr. Raynard together.
Are you sure he won't be able to trace it?
Oh, he could if he looked. He won't. He's been treating Raynard for hard. And after this excursion into the village, he won't be so very surprised.
You've got it all worked out, haven't you, Miles?
It's your idea.
Yes, of course it was. Miles,
Yes?
there won't be any pain, will there? I couldn't bear that.
Not at all. I promise you that. You just doze and doze and just look back.
Good evening to you.
You'd better come in before you fall down.
Charlie Rayner fall down. Don't talk such rubbish.
Of course you won't fall down, Mr. Rayner. But you'd better come in and get warm.
Ah, there she is. That's my girl. The only living soul who's ever spoilt me. And I like it.
I ought to be very angry with you. You've probably given yourself pneumonia.
Never a day's illness in my life.
Look at you. Look at something with it. Upstairs to bed. Now go along. I'll bring your milk up to you.
I hate milk. Germs in it.
No, Diana, Mr. Rayner's never difficult, are you?
Can be sometimes.
Go along upstairs. Diana will help you. Yes, of course I will. Come along, Mr. Rayner.
Bullying me. That's what you're all doing, bullying me.
I'll be up presently. Give me your hand.
You're pretty.
Thank you, sir. Mind the stairs.
Can I have my book? My murder book.
Of course you may have it when you get upstairs.
I could write a book. You know that.
Well, suppose you write it upstairs.
A wonderful book. All about people.
Well, that makes a nice change. Mind you don't trip on the rug.
Live people, dead people. Only one of them's got to die.
Ah.
Because he killed him.
You can see it's going to be one of these books with a difference. Who killed who?
I told you. Doctor killed the architect.
Oh, that's fine. The doctor killed... Yes. You told me, didn't you?
Of course I did. Then he pinches the wife. Easy, see?
I'm beginning to. And the wife, does she know about the murder?
Of course not. Spoil the book.
Yes, I suppose it would.
Well, I know about it. And I'm going to write it.
Up you come, Mr. Rayner. We're doing wonderfully.
No.
You must tell me more about this book.
Not till I've had a drink of brandy.
You'll get your drink of brandy, I promise you.
Oh.
Because I want you to tell me the whole
you know
story.
what the problem is.
morning, Diana.
Good morning, Miles. You're late getting up, aren't you? It's after 10.
I slept like 10 logs. I've only just woken.
But you know about...
Yes. Ruth told me.
She and Dr. Seaton went into the
I
room.
know.
Ruth and I, we were both upset. I'd just been out for a breath of air.
Oh, what did you do?
Walked along the cliff and thought.
Like what?
People and things. Things people do to each other. Then I thought about books.
Fiction?
Mostly about a man I knew who was going to write a book. A book about murder.
Did he finish the book, your friend?
No, he got stuck in the end. You see, he was writing from life, and he had to wait for the end to happen.
What was this book about, Diana?
About a girl who goes down to stay for a few days with some people in the country. And before she knows where she is, she's outstayed her welcome. And is surrounded by murder.
If that happened, wouldn't she go to the police?
She was very tempted to. But she was very fond of one of the people concerned and wasn't at all sure how involved this person was.
If I were you, I'd suggest to your friend that he tries comedy. That would be more his line, I think.
You're very certain of yourself, aren't you, Miles?
I know what I want.
And it doesn't matter how you get it.
The end, not the means, that matters.
I agree with you. What time did Susan say he'd be back?
I think Ruth said about 10:30.
About half an hour. And they'll take him... I mean, they'll take Ray...
Yes, they'll take him away.
Is there no one to notify? No friend or relative?
No one, apparently.
What a lonely way to die.
Death is rather lonely, you know.
Here's Ruth.
Ruth, are you all right? Yes, all right. Oh, but I would like some tea.
I'll go make it.
Ruth, did Dr. Seaton say anything about the death certificate?
He said he'd bring it with him.
I'm trying not to look so worried.
It's that locked door.
Well, it has to be locked. Police order. I say, it gave me rather a shock when I tried it. Why didn't you wake me?
You were sleeping so soundly, Miles. When Dr. Seaton arrived, I explained to him that you and Diana were still sleeping, and we went into the room together.
Yeah.
You were right. He looked very peaceful. He was in exactly the same position as I left him in last night. Made me feel a little better.
One day you'll learn to believe me, Ruth.
Yes, I shall, shan't I, Miles? What are you doing?
Looking for a letter. I thought it was here on the desk.
Are you sure?
What do you mean, am I sure?
You sure you're looking for a letter?
Of course. I just said so, haven't I?
Miles, don't you feel anything about what we've done?
I feel relief.
No horror, no disgust.
What? What's the matter with you?
I'm not sure. You know that I'm still frightened. I thought that when it was over, I shouldn't be, that we could go back to where we were, but now I know we shall never go back, Miles, never.
Why not?
Because the thing we've done to keep us together always be between us. In time, we shall hate each other for what we've done. And I think I shall always be a little frightened of you as well.
Of me? Why?
Because you kill so easily.
But that particular life meant nothing to anybody in the world.
It meant enough for us to end it. Oh, no, please, touch me.
Go upstairs and rest. I'll deal with Seaton when he arrives.
I think I'm seeing you for the first time, Miles. Seeing you and not liking what I see. I'm thinking of David, just as I'm thinking of Raynor.
You lost your senses?
No, I found them. I found them for the first time in 6 years.
You're talking and behaving as though you had nothing to do with this business, Ruth. As though the whole thing has come as a complete shock to you. Have you forgotten why Raynor had to die?
Was it to keep me, Miles? Did you love me so much that you could kill twice?
I didn't kill Raynor.
What did you say then, Miles?
I said I didn't kill Raynor.
I see. I killed him, didn't I?
You gave him the milk, Diana, so you go and get it for him. She saw you take it up to him. I didn't go into his room at all.
Miles, when you said a few minutes ago that you were looking for a letter, are you sure you weren't looking for this?
Give that to me immediately, Ruth.
Passport with brand new visas for France.
Give it to me.
No.
Drop it in the fire, would you? Get out of my way.
No, Miles. Too many people have had to get out of your way. You were leaving England, weren't you?
No.
Is it nonsense that in your wallet there was a steamer ticket for the 15th of next month? A steamer ticket issued last Saturday, the day you had to go up to London to see about your work?
You're quite certain there were not two tickets?
Quite certain. I've never prayed so hard in my life. Prayed that there was another ticket there somewhere, but there wasn't.
When did you find it?
Last night. So the whole thing's been a lie, hasn't it? A gigantic lie that's lasted 6 years.
You've been happy for 6 years.
Because I had to be. You had to make me happy, didn't you? That was all part of your plan, wasn't it?
And exactly what do you intend to do now that you know the truth?
There is nothing I can do. Nothing at all.
You've had a very good 6 years, Ruth. It is more than most people have. More than I've had.
It's been so dreadful for you then.
Dreadful? Have you ever had to make love to someone you didn't love? Have you ever had to force yourself against everything in your own nature, merely to please someone else? Do you know what it means for 6 years to drive yourself to be pleasant, to be passionate, to be kind, even very often to be civil, when everything inside you is bursting to get away, gnawing away inside you to let you out of it? You think those 6 years have been easy for me?
I'm sorry I was always so
Oh,
dull.
you weren't dull. It would have been easier if you had been.
You have never loved me for one single moment, have you, Miles?
Never.
And now there is nothing I can do, is there?
I can't afford to make mistakes. Not even over a simple thing like who gives who a glass of milk, who puts the sugar in it.
Do you feel nothing for me at all?
Oh, pity. Because you're weak, and I despise grit.
I don't want your pity, Miles. It's been bad enough to hear you throw back into my face every minute of those 6 years. In any case, I don't need your pity.
Are you so sure of that?
As sure as I am that you won't be using that steamer ticket.
And what's going to stop you?
I am.
Indeed.
Suppose that sounds rather silly. Stupid, boring, loving Ruth. Ruth who nauseated you with love, embarrassed you with affection. This same Ruth is going to stop you.
How, may I ask, is this to be done?
How, Miles? Very easily. By not loving you. By producing the one thing that can stop you. Look over to the stairs, Miles.
What?
Right now.
Morning to you, Mr. Curzon.
Hey, now. With the glass of milk still in his hand.
Good. What does this mean? So you're in this too, Diana?
I, you say, am in it too.
What about Sidney?
Dr. Seaton knows the whole revolting story. He's already been to the police.
They'll be here in no time. A very efficient body, the police.
Oh, well, if you think you've got the better of me, you...
Take the trouble to look outside, Miles. You'll see a man at the gate. You have only to shout and he'll be here.
Which reminds me, I must go and have a word with him.
Hadn't you better put that glass down first?
The glass. How are you? Yes, of course. It's a good job I don't like milk, isn't it, Mr. Curzon? Full of germs, it is, full of them. If you people want me, just give a shout. I'm just ready for a breath of fresh air. Shutting me up in that bedroom all the time? It isn't natural.
Ruth, I want to speak to you alone.
I'm not leaving this room.
Diana, go into the kitchen, will you?
No, I won't leave you alone with him.
Please, Ruth, there's very little time.
He won't touch me, Diana. He finds touching me repellent. Don't you, Miles?
I'll stay on the other side of the door. If he tries to...
He won't. Well, Miles, what is it?
Ruth, you can't do this to
You're
me.
wrong. I am doing it.
Has Sidney really spoken to the police?
Yes, and so have I.
The locked door.
That was the only way we could stop you from getting in, from finding out what had really happened.
I can't believe it.
Diana and Reno showed me the truth about you. Then I found the passport and the tickets, and I knew they were right.
You really give me up to that?
You gave me up.
But you loved me.
Did I? I can't remember.
It doesn't matter what I do. You'll always love me.
You're wrong. I'll always love you. But it does matter what you do.
But tell you honestly. Tell me that you feel nothing for me now.
Only pity. They're coming, Miles.
Look, last night.
What about it?
Last night. Did you put the sugar
In the milk? Yes, I obeyed your instructions very carefully.
Thank you for that. I never really liked milk either, till this moment.
Miles, what was that piece we used to play? Supper! That's you! I should have been all the arrangements were straight. That's not the
So why not make Lux your beauty care?
In tonight's Lux Radio Theatre presentation, Stranger in the House, you heard Anthony James as Miles and Sheila Holliday as Ruth. Diana was played by Diane Wilson, and Raina was portrayed by Tony Jay.
Stranger in the House by Michael Clayton Hutton was produced for Lux Radio Theatre by Victor Matheson and directed by David Manley. Next week, Lux Radio Theatre takes great pleasure in presenting The Long Frontier, a radio play specially written for Settlers' Day by Alistair Scobie. Listen next Monday night at 8:30 to a saga of drama and adventure dedicated to the pioneers who helped to build our country in The Long Frontier, presented by Lux Radio Theatre. Until then, this is Peter Tobin bidding you all good night.
Good evening. This is Peter Tobin introducing Lux Radio Theatre. Tonight and every Monday night at this time, Lux Radio Theatre presents for your entertainment the finest in radio drama. This week we bring you Trap for a Lonely Man by Robert Thomas, translated by Lucien Hill and John Sutro. A distraught young man, Daniel Corbin, living in a remote chalet in the French Alps, reports to the police that his wife, Elizabeth, has disappeared. After 10 days of unsuccessful searching, a young woman suddenly appears at the chalet in the company of a priest and claims to be Elizabeth Corbin. Daniel declares most vehemently that the woman is not his wife. The woman declares equally vehemently that she is. Who is lying, and why? Is the young woman an impostor, or is Daniel suffering from loss of memory, perhaps madness? Listen in a few moments to this tense and brilliantly constructed mystery, Trap for a Lonely Man, produced for Lux Radio Theatre by Anne Freed and directed by Henry Diffenthal. And now, Act One of tonight's Lux Radio Theatre presentation, Trap for a Lonely Man.
Any news?
No news, I'm afraid.
What? Do you mean to say you've driven all the way from Chamonix to tell me that? No news?
5 minutes drive, that's no distance. I just dropped in to see how you were.
What have you done since I last saw you? Anything?
I put in a report. It's taking its course.
Taking its course? What's the use of that? I want results. I demand results. Have you got any news of my wife or haven't you?
Monsieur, there is no need to shout.
I'm sorry. Do sit down, won't you?
Monsieur, you mustn't torture yourself. At least 10,000 wives leave their husbands every year in France alone. And 99 of 100 come back within a week.
Have you done anything to find her? Oh, yes, I know. You put in a report. But apart from that...
It's not a police job to bring back flighty wives, you know.
My wife isn't flighty. She left me 10 days ago after a quarrel.
Did you often quarrel?
Now and again, who doesn't?
Have you any idea where she might have gone? Is there any way you can write to her?
I told you. I wrote to our flat in Paris. The letter was returned. The porter had instructions to mail letters here.
Any relatives? Friends?
I don't know much about her friends. She never mentioned anyone special, and I haven't met any of her family as yet. We've only been married 3 months, Inspector. And I've told you all this before.
Does she see any of her relatives?
There's only an old uncle, and he's on his last legs.
Oh, yes, I recollect. The rich old uncle. You told me.
Yes,
She'll come back, Monsieur Corbin. My advice to you is to stay where you are and wait until she does. So stop worrying. If anything's happened to her, we'll know soon enough.
Don't! If anything happened to her, I'd never forgive myself. It's all my fault.
Oh?
It was an argument. Nothing serious. But I've got a temper. Oh, she'll never come back, I know it.
Nonsense, of course she will.
I loved her desperately, Inspector.
You are young, monsieur. Even supposing she doesn't come back, don't let it spoil your life. It's not worth it. Nothing is. You get married in June, she walks out in September. What's 3 months in a lifetime?
It's easy for you to talk.
Oh, take the long view, man. Your wife was rich, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
With these rich women, you can't win. Your wife has had money all her life, and she's used to her own way. She'll either come begging for you to take her back, or you'll get a letter from her asking for a divorce.
A divorce? When she went down on her knees to get me to... And she'd do a thing like this to me. That's what you've come for, isn't it? Well, go on. Give me the divorce papers. Come on, let's have them.
Monsieur, I am a policeman, not a lawyer. Why should I have divorce papers? I told you I had no news of your wife, and I haven't. Why should I lie to you, eh?
I'm sorry, Inspector, but I'm worried, and I've been missing her desperately. I apologize. I'm irritable. You've been patient and understanding.
Monsieur, my advice to you is don't worry. She'll come back. I'm an older man than you are, and I know women. The very devil to manage, but where would we be without them, eh? Now, you pour yourself a drink and try to relax. I must get back to the village. If you have any news, let me know.
Yes, Inspector. And thank you again.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You are Monsieur Corbin, aren't you? Daniel Corbin?
Yes?
I know the lady of the house, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet. I'm Father Maximin.
Oh, how do you do?
I've just taken over the parish of Saint-Jean from Father Simonet. I expect you know Father Simonet, don't you?
No, I'm on holiday. I've only rented this chalet. Sit down, Father.
Thank you.
Can I give you a drink?
I won't say no. It's chilly these autumn evenings.
A brandy?
No, whiskey, I think. A very weak one, thank you. I ventured to call because I have a holy picture for Madame Corbin.
A holy picture?
It is the custom of our mountain churches. We present a holy picture when we receive a donation.
My wife gave you a donation?
Yes, she gave me 100 francs. A lot of money. She's a wonderful person.
Yes, isn't she?
Here's the picture.
I'll see my wife gets it when she... if she returns.
Oh?
She's gone. Left me.
Oh. I'm sorry. May I ask you a question? Are you still in love with your wife?
Of course.
You were married in church, I hope.
Yes. A tiny church among the pine trees near Juan. Honeymoon in Venice. Then a friend of mine offered to rent me the chalet. The second evening we were here, we quarreled. Elizabeth packed her bags and left.
I see.
That was 10 days ago, and I haven't heard a word from her since. Not a word. I love her dearly, I do, Father. And I miss her. Oh, more than I can say.
Monsieur, I have good news for you.
Oh?
Your wife has come back.
What did you say?
I saw a young woman at afternoon prayers today in my church at Saint-Jean. She was weeping. I recognized her as Madame Corbin. She told me the whole story.
You mean...
I brought her here with me. She was afraid you'd be angry, so I told her I would speak with you first. She's waiting outside.
Oh.
Here. Are these your cigarettes on this desk? Would you like one?
Yes, please. This is...
Here.
Thank you.
I'll ask your wife to come, monsieur. Madame, will you come through, please?
Daniel, oh, darling, please forgive me. But... Oh, everything will be all right now. I know it will. Oh, I've missed you so terribly. Oh, darling. Father Maxime, oh, thank you for everything. Bless you. I must just go to my room now.
There, monsieur.
But that is not my wife.
What?
That woman isn't Elizabeth.
Monsieur, I don't comprehend.
I've never set eyes on that woman before in my life.
You're joking.
Father, I tell you, I don't know that woman.
Isn't she Madame Corbin?
Certainly not.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. That girl is either an adventuress or a lunatic. Now, you upstairs, come down. Come down.
And now keep calm, monsieur.
You will kindly get out of my house and take that woman back where you found her.
Yes, yes, of course. Madame Corbin, will you come down, please? Tell me, do you often have these emotional upsets? Do you suffer from loss of memory at all?
Loss of memory? Of course not. I tell you, that woman is not my wife.
She's the woman who gave us that generous donation the other day.
What? She called herself Elizabeth Corbin.
But of course, monsieur.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, you called, darling? Oh, it's so wonderful to be home again. I've only spent 2 days in this chalet, but I've missed it terribly. Oh, my mountains.
Look here. You are not my wife.
Oh, darling, you haven't been drinking too much, have you? Oh, dear, empty glasses. Remember what the doctor said? He said you shouldn't drink. You know it's bad for your nerves. And your depression is always worse when you drink.
Nerves? Depression? What the devil are you talking about? My nerves are perfectly all right, and I'm never depressed.
Ah, so that's what it is.
Oh, it's nothing serious, Father. Only mild attacks now and again, and they don't last. Oh, darling, it's me. I'm back.
You aren't my wife. Great heavens, I should know. Why are you doing this?
I should never have gone away. Look at the state he's in, Father. Oh, my poor darling.
Father, don't listen to her. She's trading on your innocence. She wants you to think I'm mad. This woman is an adventuress. I don't know her. I've never seen her before. Get out. Do you hear me?
Oh, no, you're hurting my arm.
Steady now, monsieur. You must not treat your wife like that.
She is not my wife.
Daniel, if this is a joke...
A joke? You believe I would joke about this?
Now, darling, do stop it.
Get out of here or I'll have you arrested for trespassing.
Really, Daniel, stop being childish.
Why are you pretending to be Elizabeth? Answer me. Why?
But I am Elizabeth.
Tell the truth. What game is this?
Darling, look at me. I'm your wife. I'm Elizabeth. Oh, Father, help me. Help me. He doesn't recognize me.
Recognize you? I keep telling you I have never set eyes on you before.
Father, he was like this in Venice on our honeymoon. One evening...
How do you know that my wife and I went to Venice on our honeymoon?
One evening I came home rather late from the hairdresser, and I found Daniel in our hotel room raging like a maniac.
What?
It took me all night to quieten him down.
That's a lie.
Oh, it's all my fault. I should never have left him, Father. But he was cruel.
Lies. It's all wretched lies.
You'll help me, Father, won't you? You'll help me.
Yes, my child, of course I will. We'll both look after you, Monsieur Corbin.
But are you feeling better now, my angel? Do you recognize me now?
It's all a plot. A fantastic, incredible plot. But I'll soon put things right. Oh, yes, I will.
What are you doing?
I telephone the police.
For heaven's sake, don't. You'll make us both look ridiculous.
Yes, monsieur, don't be too hasty.
I don't know what you're up to, madame, but I'm not allowing you to get away with it.
Daniel, please.
You're frightened, aren't you? You see, the police know all about my wife's disappearance. So if you think you can foist yourself upon me like this, you're mistaken.
Oh, do something, Father. Help him.
This is all very bewildering. I don't mind playing the Good Samaritan, but I'd like to know what I'm doing. So if you don't mind, I'll phone the police. Hello? Chamonix? Get me police headquarters. Yes, it's urgent. The inspector, yes. Hello, this is Father Maximin. I'm at the Corbin chalet on the Chamonix Road. Oh, you have? Then I think you'd better come straight back. Well, you see, I brought his wife home. Well, no, Inspector, he isn't. He's not pleased at all.
Give me that.
Steady, monsieur.
Listen, Inspector. A strange woman has just forced her way in here, and she's threatening to stay. Please come over immediately. No, this is not a joke, and I've not been drinking. Yes, perhaps, well, 1 or 2. Yes, he's still here. Right? I'll tell him to stay. Thank you, Father. The inspector will soon get rid of her.
Poor darling.
Look, what game are you up to? Do you plan to get money out of me, is that it? You're in for a disappointment, then. I won't allow you to get a penny of my money. Is that understood? Not a penny.
Your money? My money, you mean? You hadn't a penny when I married you. I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean to say that. What's mine is yours, anyway.
Now, see here.
Monsieur, please, compose yourself and let us wait for the inspector.
I'm getting sick and tired of this whole wretched business. I wish the inspector would come and arrest this impostor.
Forgive me, madame, but have you any means of identification? Papers, a passport or something?
That's an excellent idea, Father. I should have thought of it. Well, madame, your passport, please.
Of course, in my bag. Here you are.
Elizabeth Corbin. This is a fake, a forgery.
This seems authentic enough, monsieur.
Great heavens. She's not alone. There must be a whole gang behind her.
Daniel, for pity's sake, pull yourself together. If the police see you like this, they'll think you're verging on a breakdown.
There's a car coming now.
It's the police.
At last, the inspector will soon clear this up. Inspector, come quickly.
What's the matter? What's all this about?
This woman arrived in this house. There she is.
Madame.
Good evening, Inspector. I'm afraid it's all a ghastly misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding? Explain, madame.
My husband telephoned you during one of his nervous attacks.
What's that?
It was nothing serious, really, Inspector, but he does have these spells sometimes.
You mean I was brought back here and...
I'm Elizabeth Corbin.
She is not.
I returned home a few moments ago and
She
found...
isn't my wife at all, Inspector. This woman's an impostor.
Now, take it easy. Don't get so excited, monsieur. Sit down.
Yes, do sit down, darling.
Inspector, I don't know what sort of game she's playing, but
Be quiet, Daniel. You're only making it worse for yourself.
I thought it best to call you, Inspector. I hope I did the right thing.
Yes. Good evening.
Oh, I'm the new parish priest of Saint-Jean.
Oh, I see, yes.
This unfortunate gentleman doesn't recognize his wife.
Father, she is not my wife. I'll show you a photograph here on the desk. Oh.
Monsieur?
There was a photograph of my wife on that desk. Father Maximin, you came over to this desk a moment ago.
To get your cigarettes, yes.
You're in league with her, aren't you? My photograph, where is it? The photograph of Elizabeth, which was standing there?
No,
there?
look, really, this is...
Now, darling, you mustn't attack Father Maxima. He has nothing to do with all this.
You're hand and glove, the pair of you. This man isn't a priest. Inspector...
Now, watch what you're saying, Corbin. Look here, all of you. I'm Chief Inspector of the police at Chamonix. I'm a busy man, and I haven't the time to spend listening to some crazy story about a wife who runs off and returns a different woman.
This woman isn't my wife. She isn't.
I'd be obliged if you would stop shouting at me.
Inspector, that woman is not Elizabeth.
Oh, really? This is ridiculous.
Would you mind letting me talk to Monsieur Corbin alone?
I'd rather tell you what happened myself.
For the time being, I'm making the decisions. Would you mind going?
Whatever you wish, Inspector. Father Maximin, will you explain?
Father Maximin will have his say in a moment. Perhaps you wouldn't mind waiting in here. Both of you.
But, Inspector,
Come along, madame. It is best.
Now, monsieur, let's try and make some sense out of this rigmarole.
Rigmarole is right. That wretched woman forces her way in here and claims...
Do you mind if I sit down?
Of course, sorry.
You were saying?
Yes, well, it's like this. Just after you left, I was sitting here quietly, when suddenly...
Do you mind if I smoke?
Of course not.
Thank you. Proceed, monsieur. Your nerves are in a shocking state, aren't they?
Can you wonder? That girl has the face...
All right. I've sent in one report about you, and I'm quite prepared to send in another. Now, let's begin at the beginning. You are Daniel Corbin.
I've told you all this already.
Now, do sit down and try to relax. You mustn't worry, monsieur. I'm here to help you.
I'm sorry.
You have no family, is that right?
No family at all. My parents are dead.
Have you ever been in trouble with the police?
No, never. I swear, never.
All right, I believe you. Go on.
Last May, I met a wonderful girl called Elizabeth Marchaline. We got married 3 weeks later, But I've told you this before, Inspector.
You are both living in such perfect harmony that she walks out and leaves you.
But we've been happy.
And she comes home again and it suits you not to take her back? And there we are, the whole story. Have you found someone else, monsieur?
There is no one. That woman isn't Elizabeth. She says she is, but she is lying.
But why in heaven's name should she want to impersonate your wife?
Heaven knows.
It's such an unlikely story, monsieur.
I wonder.
Monsieur?
I wonder if that so-called priest saw me as a likely victim and tipped her off. She means to convince you and everybody else that she's my legal wife. And then she's entitled to my money.
Why? Are you so very rich, monsieur?
Well, no, but...
Then it doesn't make sense, does it?
No, I suppose not.
Unless you have undeclared assets salted away. Have you?
No, certainly not.
Or expectations?
Expectations?
A legacy, perhaps.
I haven't any relatives. Wait a moment. I know. My wife's uncle. He's a millionaire. She mentioned some time ago that he was desperately ill. That's it.
Has he died?
I don't know.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Look, I'm frightened. If she's cool enough to pass herself off as my wife, she won't stop at that. Before long, she'll manage to become my widow. An accident, anything. It's happened before. And she's free to do as she likes.
But what about your wife? Your real wife?
She's gone.
Perhaps. But she won't stand aside and allow someone to take over her fortune. It doesn't make sense, monsieur. It doesn't. Candidly, I find the whole story utterly fantastic.
That's a good word for it. Fantastic. And evil, too. I believe this to be the work of a highly organized gang.
I'm curious to hear her side of the story.
It's up to you to break it down, Inspector. And you'd better trace my wife quickly.
I think I'll see the priest first. Father Maximin?
Yes, Inspector?
Just a few questions, Father. I'm sorry to trouble you. You have your papers on you?
Of course. Here. And if you'd care to ring the Bishop of Chambéry...
Oh, there's no hurry.
Ring him now.
Don't give me orders. Do you mind? You'll excuse my checking up, won't you, Father?
Of course. You're only doing your duty. I'm afraid this poor fellow isn't at all well. His mind seems to be...
Why, you... Be quiet and let me handle this. 212. Father Maximum, I'm calling Canon Cambert of Chamonix. You know him, I expect.
He's a great friend of my father's.
I see. Hello? Is that you, Father? Inspector Quentin here. How are you? Oh, good. I wonder if you can help me. I have a Father Maximum here. Oh, you know him, do you? Splendid. Yes, that is correct. Thank you. Goodbye, Father.
This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right.
Look at him, will you? The nerve, the bare-faced impertinence of it, sheltering under a cassock.
That's enough, monsieur. Father Maximum looks perfectly calm, and you look a nervous wreck. The comparison isn't in your favor. Now will you sit down and keep quiet?
All right.
Now then, Father, tell me all you know.
Well, there isn't much. Madame Corbin came to see me. She said she wanted to go home, but she was afraid of her husband's temper. So she asked me to go with her. When she arrived, her husband started shouting that she was an impostor.
Go on.
And then, of course, I realized that Monsieur Corbin had...
Lost his memory?
Exactly. He threatened us. He tried to throw her out. She was in despair, poor soul.
She was what?
Quiet. According to you, Father, this woman really is Elizabeth Corbin.
Most definitely. I saw her myself in this very room 10 days ago.
I see.
It's a lie. Oh, it must have taken you weeks of research to spring the trap like this. Days of rehearsing to get it perfect.
Now, look here, monsieur. I've had enough
Gently,
of this.
Father.
I'm sorry.
Now, Corbin, let's have a few names of people who saw your wife here 12 days ago.
Who? Let me see. Who saw her?
That's right.
Wait a moment. We arrived on a Friday evening. I got the key of the chalet from Madame Châtenay at the cafe in the square.
Did your wife go into the cafe with you?
No, she stayed in the car.
The postman doesn't come right up to the house, does he?
No, he leaves the mail in the box down by the gate. But the grocer delivers here. But he didn't see Elizabeth. I remember she was lying down.
Anyone else you can think of?
Not here. But there are dozens of people in Venice who saw us together, and in Juan, and in Geneva.
I dare say, but bringing people all the way up here without any sort of warrant, that will take some doing.
I'll pay.
That's not the point. Now, let's stop wasting time. Madame Corbin, come in here, will you?
Thank you.
Sit down.
Oh, it's dark in here, Inspector. Let me switch the lights on.
I'll do it, madame.
Oh, thank you. The switch is over by the door. Oh, it's getting chilly, too. Father, I wonder if you'd turn on the heating for me. There's a red lever in the kitchen under the gas meter. And I'd very much like a soft drink. There's some fruit juice in the refrigerator. Thank you so much.
A pleasure, madame.
I see you know the house well.
Naturally.
Quite so. Your husband...
I'm not.
Your husband, I repeat, until proof to the contrary, has just been telling me how you met and got married and how you came to be staying here.
Yes, he's been suffering from his nerves lately. I thought the mountain air here at Chamonix would do him good.
You thought that...
Monsieur, please. Now, madam, we come to the quarrel you had just before you went away.
Yes, I'm desperately sorry about that. I should never have left. I had no idea it would bring on this breakdown.
May I see your papers, madame?
Oh, but of course. Here, Inspector.
They're all forgeries. You'll see. You will see.
They seem perfectly genuine to me. Enter. Yes, what is it, Francois?
This letter was found in the post box, sir. It was addressed to Madame Corbin.
Thank you, Francois. You may go.
Yes, sir.
This letter is from Bellinger and Martin, solicitors at Saint-Denis.
May I have it, please?
Don't give it to her.
Give me that letter at once, Inspector, or I'll ring up the Commissioner of Police at Chambray and report you. You have no right to keep that letter. Give it to me, please.
Don't let her have it. This woman is not Elizabeth Corbin.
Well, for heaven's sake, prove it, then.
All right.
Prove it!
All right, I will. I'll soon show that she isn't Elizabeth. I'll ask her some questions now.
What questions?
About us. Intimate questions.
All right, Corbin. Go ahead.
Tell me the name of the travel agency in Venice which arranged our tour through Italy. My wife bought the tickets, Inspector.
The Marcellus Agency in the Piazza San Marco.
Oh. What's the name of the friend who rented us the chalet?
Jean Bernardet.
Is that right?
Yes.
Do you think it's worthwhile going on with this Corbin?
Yes. One more question. Where did we break our journey on the way to Chamonix?
Geneva. The Globe Hotel.
Wrong! I've got her!
All right. I'll soon check. Give me 1-4. Hello. Fernand? Put a priority call through to Geneva headquarters. Get them to check on reservations at the Globe Hotel by a couple called Corbin early this month.
There won't be any. We never stayed there.
Quiet! Hurry, will you, Fernand, and call me back as soon as you know. Any more questions?
Yes. My wife and I had an argument on the day after we were married. What was it about?
Darling, this is all very embarrassing. I don't think we should discuss it in front of...
You see, Inspector, she doesn't know.
Yes, I do. It was about money.
Is that right, monsieur?
She guessed. She just guessed.
She guessed right, though. That's the point. Hello? Yes? Yes? I see. Thank you. No, that's all. That was the Geneva police confirming a registration at the Globe Hotel in the name of Elizabeth and Daniel Corbin.
What? It's not true. Can't be. We never stayed there, not at the Globe Hotel. We didn't.
Monsieur, you signed the register.
I did not.
My men have seen. There is no doubt. None.
But I didn't. This must be madness.
Yes, monsieur. I'm beginning to think it might be.
It's here. New Duel.
Yes. Duel is the new floor cleaner that really deserves to be called revolutionary. Because Duel actually cleans and polishes your floors all in one go.
Duel is an entirely new floor cleaner that has its own built-in floor polish as well. Duel saves you hours of work.
With Duel, you get all your washable floors spotlessly clean. And you get a magnificent, hard, non-slip, dirt-resisting shine. All in one go.
And the more you clean with Duel, the more brilliantly your floors shine.
Get new Duel right away. It's the revolutionary new floor cleaner that cleans and polishes all in one go.
Remember, it's Duel. D-U-A-L, Duel.
You are now listening to Drive, the hungry detergent. Only Drive, the new kind of washing powder, has Insolve, the professional stain remover. That's why Drive with Insolve eats stains like baby food, tomato sauce, egg, chocolate. Yet it's so gentle with fabrics, so kind to colors. Just soak overnight in new Drive and stains vanish. Then wash in new Drive for astounding results. New Drive eats stains. Gets your whole wash so clean, it's spotless.
Well, Inspector, and what are your plans now?
I'll get back to the station.
Inspector, I never signed that register.
Darling, go up to your room and try to rest. You must.
That is a good idea, monsieur. You must relax. It's imperative.
Remember the last time you were like this, Daniel? You were perfectly all right after a couple of days.
So you've been like this before, have you?
Never!
Yes, in Venice. Have you forgotten, darling?
I'm beginning to understand. Well, you'll be better tomorrow, monsieur. Goodbye, madame.
Inspector.
Madame?
You've forgotten my letter.
Ah, madame, so I have. Here we are.
You read it, Inspector. Read it aloud.
But, madame...
Please.
Very well. We regret to inform you that your uncle, Hugo de la Fossere, passed away last night. It's dated 3 weeks ago, forwarded from your Paris address.
They knew. Don't you see, Inspector? They knew all along.
I should be obliged if you would call at my office as soon as convenient to discuss the will and legacies. Please accept my condolences. So...
You'd better keep that letter, Inspector.
Oh?
And check on the identity of the lawyers, in case my husband imagines I've written it.
The lawyer's identity isn't in doubt. That's the one thing I am sure of. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must return to the station. I've spent hours up here and I can ill afford the time.
Don't go, Inspector.
What?
Don't go. I tell you, this is a plot. Tomorrow she'll get rid of me. A mental home, an accident, suicide, anything. She'll get rid of me. For heaven's sake, Inspector, do something. Or else tell me that I'm raving mad. Tell me I've imagined the whole wretched business. Tell me that.
No, monsieur. I will take it. Quentin here? Uh-huh. I see. Right. Thank you.
Well?
Is there anything wrong, Inspector?
That was my assistant. A message from Geneva.
Oh?
Well?
It's about these reservations at the Globe Hotel. Some zealous young constable noticed alterations or erasures or something. I shall have to investigate this further.
There, you see. I told you. They tampered with the register.
But, Inspector, you've seen my papers, my passport, everything. You heard me answer questions.
Yes, we'll discuss this further tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Tomorrow I'll be dead.
Oh, come. That is melodramatic, monsieur. No harm will come to you. Good night.
Listen to me, Inspector. Listen. Oh, no.
I'll pour you a drink, my darling. There you are.
No. Monsieur, don't be churlish, I beg of you. Here, it will do you good.
Who are you? Who are you? And what do you want?
Well, Monsieur Corbin, a new day, a beautiful day. How do you feel, eh?
She's still here. She's taken over completely. But you don't care. No one does. It's like some kind of nightmare. I can't believe it's happening to me. Inspector, you're a clever man. You're accustomed to dealing with criminals. Haven't you the slightest doubt about her?
Well, yes. It's very faint. No more than a glimmer. Hardly that.
Follow it up, then. If you can't help me, no one can.
Now, monsieur. Let us see what we can do together. There must be a weak link somewhere.
Yes.
But keep calm, whatever you do. We'll see if we can't find some people who knew your wife, on your responsibility, of course. My superiors aren't going to proceed on a mere suspicion of mine. Now, can you give me any names?
Well, yes, but we've only been married 3 months, and we did make a crowd of friends at one.
Splendid. Make me out a list of, say, 10 people and leave it to me.
All right. I'll do that, Inspector.
Now, let me give you a bit of advice, monsieur. Act as though you've resigned yourself to the situation. Don't force her hand. Play along with her. Meantime, I'll be doing my job, and any moment now your real wife may turn up.
Pray heaven that you're right.
But you must take a firm grip on yourself.
I'll try. I feel really much better now that I realize that you're on my side, Inspector. I think I'll go out. I need some fresh air.
You wouldn't do that.
Oh?
There are fast cars on these roads.
You mean... What? Outside the house?
Outside, anything is possible, monsieur.
I'll stay here, then.
Anyway, you've got the telephone. Your line is directly connected to the police station. I arranged it this morning.
I'm very grateful.
It's all part of the job, monsieur. Now then, you think of that list of names and cheer up. Cheer up.
Oh, good morning, Inspector.
Oh, good morning, madame.
Don't you think my husband looks much better? He slept very well, Inspector, and he needs rest. Oh, you do, my darling.
Yes, he seems much better, ma'am. But I'll be on my way. I'm glad to see this improvement, monsieur. Well, goodbye. Oh, well, just one thing. What's the address of your flat in Paris, madame?
157 Rue d'Anjou.
Thank you.
It's the 5th floor on the left.
Very clever. Go on. Laugh, curse you. But I'll get out of this. You see if I don't.
Of course you will, darling.
You won't get me.
Yes, darling. Now do rest while I go down to the village. What would you like for lunch?
To the devil with lunch.
All right, then. How about some steak? And a mushroom omelette to start with. How will that do?
I imagine both dishes will be liberally sprinkled with poison.
Oh, darling, the things you say. Well, I won't be long. And do rest while I'm gone.
Daniel, keep calm, keep calm. A drink. Yes, a drink to steady me down. No? Drink nothing, eat nothing. Who's that?
Anyone at home? Who'll treat Malouche to a drink?
Who are you?
Open the door, monsieur.
What do you want?
My apologies for this interruption, monsieur. Malouche is the name, artist by profession.
Oh. What the devil do you want?
I am on holiday. I was sitting in the sunshine eating my breakfast when, crash, my bottle of red wine fell from my fingers and broke into 1,000,000 fragments. You wouldn't have a bottle of red wine to sell, I suppose?
No, I'm afraid not. Now, if you'll excuse me...
I notice whiskey yonder. Would you have any objection if...
Oh, help yourself, but be quick.
One moment, no more. This is living. Would you like me to do a portrait of you, sir? You have a most expressive face.
Look, if it's money you're wanting, here. Take this. Go and drink my health.
You're giving me this? But, monsieur...
Take it and get out.
Why, monsieur, you're a Medici, a patron of the arts. Oh, this is a fortune.
Just a moment.
Huh?
Look at me.
Anything wrong?
Have you ever worn a beard?
Well, that depends on the time of year.
I don't suppose by any chance... No, that's too much to hope for, and yet... I have a feeling I've seen you before. Do you remember me at all? Do you?
Your face isn't unfamiliar to me.
Think carefully, man. Think.
I've seen you, but where? Give me some clue, some idea.
I can't. It's got to come from you.
Oh, dear.
Where were you 3 months ago?
Juan Lapin. Ah, that's it, of course, monsieur. You're the one who got married in that little church. To the tall, blonde lady. Yes, I remember now. I offered to paint you.
Quiet. Don't talk so loudly. Someone might hear you.
Another woman.
I can't explain. There isn't time, and anyway, you wouldn't believe me. But your evidence is absolutely vital to me. It torpedoes their whole devilish scheme.
Oh?
Now listen to me. You call yourself an artist, so you can do my portrait. Start drawing.
But I...
Sit down there and pretend. In a moment, a woman will come in here.
Your lady friend?
Great heavens, no. Now, whatever you do, don't tell her you were present at my wedding at Rouen.
Oh, but I thought...
Don't argue, will you? Listen. You've never seen me before. I've never seen you. You're doing my portrait, and that's all there is to it.
Right, I get the idea. The new one is jealous of the old, is that it, eh?
Yes, that's it. So, not a word. If all goes well, I'll give you 1,000 francs.
What? There must be a catch somewhere. It is coincidence that I saw you in Rouen.
Get on with that sketch. I want to make a phone call.
Very well, then, but this is strange. 1,000 francs. Oh, that's Picasso's rate.
Hello? Corbin here. Give me Inspector Quentin, please.
Here, what are you doing?
Be quiet. I'll explain later.
I'm in the clear with the police. Monsieur, I demand to know what this is all about.
Quiet. Hello? Well, where is he? Oh. Get hold of him as soon as possible. It's urgent. Say I've got the proof I wanted. Tell him to come here to the chalet as soon as he can. Thanks.
I insist on an explanation.
You've got to trust me. Now, pick up your pencil and keep drawing.
But, monsieur...
Don't argue!
Not another word. You did say 1,000 francs, monsieur?
1,000 francs, nothing less.
This is my day.
Describe my wife to me. Describe her. This is important. You said she was tall and fair.
Yes, and her nose, it was so. And she was, how do you call it, a lady of consequence. She was wearing a, now let me see her.
Blue dress?
Quite so, monsieur, blue dress.
Great heavens, this is providential that I recognized you. And I so nearly didn't without that beard. Shh! Someone's coming. Get on with that sketch.
Oh? What's going on here? Who's this man?
Allow me to introduce myself. Malouche, portrait painter.
Oh?
I am sketching this gentleman.
A very rough sketch.
I always start this way. Yeah, but monsieur, he fidgets the whole time. It is very difficult for me.
Do you make a living from your drawing?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you've had exhibitions in Juan.
What,
Daniel, darling, why are you so continually looking at your watch? Are you expecting someone?
No, I don't want to intrude if you're expecting company. I'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, goodbye. We'll see you again.
I'm not expecting anyone. Don't go. Sit down and get on with that sketch.
But look, darling, you can't force a creative artist to work. Inspiration comes and goes. You must let him leave if he wants to.
That's right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sit down!
Darling, don't shout. Wait a minute. I recognize you.
Yeah, me?
Yes. You were at our wedding. Don't you remember, darling? Only he wore a beard. You were at Juan.
Me?
Now think carefully. I can assure you it's worth your while.
Am I intruding?
Oh, Reverend, do take my chair. I'm going.
A car.
The police.
What?
I called them. This man was at Juan. He saw Elizabeth. He remembers her. Come on, describe her. Go on.
Monsieur,
Go on.
please, I must go.
Out this way, quickly.
Merciful heavens, a gun! Reverend, you with a gun?
Quick, the back way.
No, you don't.
Leave go my arm, Corbin. Leave go.
Give me that gun. Help, please. Quickly.
What's this? What's the devil?
Inspector, my husband. He took the gun and he shot Malouche. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Give me that gun, Corbin. Give it to me. Oh, you poor demented fool. What have you done now?
Boy, have I got that fuzzy feeling. I gotta get a clean, fresh mouth and a new tongue. Do I need you, Pepsodent?
Heavy duty Pepsodent.
Cleans up, freshens up.
Toothpaste with the sparkle clean taste.
Heavy duty Pepsodent works harder than your toothbrush to give you the big cleanup, freshens your breath, gets rid of that fuzzy feeling.
The toothpaste with the sparkle clean taste.
Boy, with heavy duty Pepsodent, you brush that dullness clean away.
It's here, new Dual.
Yes, Dual is the new floor cleaner that really deserves to be called revolutionary. Because Dual actually cleans and polishes your floors all in one go.
Dual is an entirely new floor cleaner that has its own built-in floor polish as well. Dual saves you hours of work.
With Dual, you get all your washable floors spotlessly clean. And you get a magnificent, hard, non-slip, dirt-resisting shine. All in one go.
And the more you clean with Dual, the more brilliantly your floors shine.
Get new Dual right away. It's the revolutionary new floor cleaner that cleans and polishes all in one go.
Remember, it's Dual. D-U-A-L, Dual.
Inspector, what's going to happen to my husband?
First of all, let me hear your story.
Well, Malouche came to the door and asked me if he could do Daniel's portrait.
That's a lie. You were in the village when he came.
Quiet, monsieur. Proceed, madame.
I persuaded Daniel.
You persuaded?
I thought it might make Daniel relax. Well, they were only alone for a moment. I don't know what they said to each other. And a second later, I heard a shot.
Another lie. She lies, Inspector.
Monsieur, if you will not keep silent, I must ask you to leave the room. And then, madame?
Malouche fell as Father Maximin came in.
Did Monsieur Corbin threaten you as well?
No.
Or you, Father?
He didn't have time. You came in just then. But he would have killed us both if you hadn't, I'm quite certain. You'll have to arrest him, Inspector. You can't allow a dangerous psychopath like that...
Inspector, you must let me speak. You must allow me to speak.
In a moment. Yes? Speaking. Right. Come over immediately. Hurry.
What is it, Inspector?
That is my business. Now then, Monsieur Corbin, give me your version of what happened.
Merlouche was a witness at my wedding in Rouen. I sent for you so that he could tell you the truth. But they killed him. They killed my only witness.
On the contrary, Monsieur, there is a second witness on the way.
What?
Someone else?
You won't have long to wait.
Oh, this is tremendous, Inspector. Someone who knows my wife, who knows Elizabeth? Who is it?
You'll know soon enough. If I'm not mistaken, the witness arrives. Monsieur, stand over there with your back to the door. You, Father Maximin, over there.
Of course, Inspector.
And you, Madame, go to the top of the stairs. When I call come down, you will walk down the stairs without a word.
Yes, Inspector.
This witness has no idea why she's been brought here, so her reaction will be spontaneous and incontestable.
Is it a woman?
Quiet, Monsieur, and keep your back to the door. I insist. Ah, Francois, bring Madame in.
The nurse.
Keep your face to the wall.
Well, Inspector, what is this all about? I insist that you tell me.
My apologies. I'm looking for someone who knows the people who live here. One of my men, who is a neighbor of yours, understood you to say you had attended the wife. Is that correct?
Yes. I came to give her an injection 2 weeks ago.
Would you recognize them?
Certainly. There's Monsieur Corbin standing with his back to me.
Excellent.
Madame Bertin, I was never so pleased to see anyone in my whole life.
Are you sure this is Monsieur Corbin?
Positive.
Madame, will you come down the stairs? Who is this, Madame?
Madame Corbin, of course.
Good morning.
What? Shh.
And I, too, am pleased and relieved to see you, Madame Bertin.
Are you certain this is Madame Corbin?
Of course I am.
They're all against me. All of them.
I'm afraid I don't understand what's going on, Inspector.
He doesn't recognize his wife.
Oh, how sad. Perhaps he needs treatment or a sedative of some kind. And now, if you've finished with me, perhaps someone could drive me back to Chamonix.
Of course. Francois, will you drive Madame back?
She's lying. I tell you, she's lying. Stop her. Don't let her go.
Why, I'll...
Madame, please, do you mind going?
I have something more to say about this.
She is lying.
Oh, stop that, Monsieur. You are begging for a straitjacket.
What?
Madame Corbin, will you go through to the next room? And you, Father.
Of course, Inspector. Come, Madame.
Now then, Monsieur. As far as I'm concerned, Madame Bertin identified your wife, and that's an end to it. I see no reason to doubt her word. That woman through there is your wife, whether you like it or not. If she wasn't, how could you possibly account for the way she has behaved all through this? Why, she has never for a second shown the slightest fear that your other alleged wife might come back.
No, she isn't afraid that Elizabeth will come back because she's sure she won't.
What do you mean?
They know everything. Who could have told them? Who, if not my wife? She must be at the back of it all.
Oh, great heavens, this is definitely insanity. Hello? Yes, it's me. Right. Good. I'll come right over.
What's happened?
That was the hospital about Merlouche.
Oh, he's dead? He's dead?
No.
Oh.
They're going to operate. As soon as he's conscious, I'll question him.
Suppose he dies.
Then you'll have to prove you didn't kill him, won't you? I must go straight to the hospital now, monsieur.
You'll be back?
Indeed, yes. I'll be back. There's still a great deal to be done. Excuse me.
So Merlouche didn't die after all, darling?
No, he didn't. You thought you were clever. Oh, yes. But you didn't bargain on Merlouche, did you now? And you can't get at him. You can't bribe Merlouche. He'll talk.
Oh, no, he won't.
Yes, he will. He will. He's honest. He'll tell the truth.
He won't.
What's to stop him?
Death.
Are you ready?
Yes, I've packed everything I could lay my hands on. What's Corbin doing?
Nothing. He seems dazed.
Does he know where he's being taken?
Yes, he didn't react at all. Merlouche's death has stunned him. Ah, here he is now. We were talking about you, Corbin. You'll be very comfortable at the clinic. We'll visit you as often as we can.
I don't want to leave here.
My friend, you've killed a man. You keep forgetting that. The inspector wants you to go to the clinic. He thinks it's a good idea, and so do I. You trust the inspector, don't you?
But what's all that luggage there?
You may have to stay there for several days under observation. before the law decides what's to be done with you.
You'll never get away with this. And I'm not going. I'm not.
This is official. You are going to this clinic as a patient. Then you'll be sent to trial, unless the doctors prove that you're unfit to plead.
Get the luggage into the car, Father.
Right.
I'm not leaving here, and neither are you.
Oh, yes, we are. All of us. You're coming for a nice long drive. Come along now, hurry.
Corbin, I don't want to be forced to carry you to the car.
I did not kill Merlouche.
He died on the operating table as a result of bullet wounds inflicted by you. It was you, Corbin. This is murder. Now, come on. That's enough of this talking.
Here's the inspector.
What?
Oh, Inspector, we were just driving my husband to the clinic now.
There is no need, madame.
Oh?
Why?
What happened, Inspector? What happened?
You'll be relieved to know, Monsieur Corbin, that you did not kill Melouche.
What? But surely, we both saw him.
It was a shot in the shoulder, not a fatal wound by any means. A minor operation.
But I was given to understand that he died on the operating table.
He died 5 minutes after he returned to his ward.
Shock, obviously.
I don't think so. They're performing an autopsy now. They'll let me know immediately they get the results.
Oh, Inspector, what a relief.
A male nurse was seen leaving Melouche's room just before he died. The hospital staff are being questioned. The trouble is one man in a white coat looks very like another.
He must have done it. He must have killed Melouche.
Don't be absurd.
You left here after they took Melouche to hospital. You killed him because he was my only witness.
Keep quiet, will you?
You're a complete fool, Inspector. These people are tricking you.
Yes, I am a complete fool. I should have arrested you long ago.
Then why don't you? Why don't you? Why send me to the clinic with these two people? Why? I want to be arrested. At least I'll be safe in jail. Yes, Inspector, arrest me for the attempted murder of Melouche. I'll get a clever lawyer. I'll prove my case, and then, by heavens, I'll expose this woman for the impostor she really is.
Darling, you don't know what you're saying.
I shot Melouche deliberately, with intent to kill. Now, Inspector, arrest me and take me to Chamonix.
Ignore him, Inspector.
Inspector, arrest me for attempted murder. Arrest me, I say.
If you want police protection, you shall have it. I promise that by 8 o'clock tonight you will be safely locked up. Yes? Speaking. Oh. I see. Yes, that does alter the picture completely. Thank you.
Well, who's that?
That was the result of the autopsy on Melouche.
Yes.
It has revealed traces of strychnine in the stomach.
What? He was poisoned?
They did it. They went to the hospital and poisoned him. They killed Melouche.
Corbin, there is no proof. Not of anything.
But, Inspector, it's plain common sense. It stands to reason that
Monsieur, when one deals with insanity, reason and common sense don't apply.
What? What do you mean?
From the moment I was called in by you to investigate your wife's disappearance, I knew I was dealing with a madman.
I am not.
Your whole story is distorted. It's twisted. It's grotesque. There's no truth in what you say. In a wild moment, you might well have poisoned Melouche. After all, you did try to shoot him.
He was my only witness. Why would I want to shoot him?
It is here. Here in the mind, monsieur.
Sometimes I wonder if you aren't on their side. Sometimes I wonder.
Do you, monsieur?
Great heavens. What a fool I've been. That's it. It all fits perfectly. There was a mastermind behind it all. It's you! You planned it brilliantly, using your official position as a cover. And I've sweated my heart out trying to persuade you that this woman isn't Elizabeth. What a laugh that is. What a laugh. You're very clever. But as long as there's breath in my body, I'll fight you. You'll never get me. You killed Elizabeth, didn't you? She's dead. Now I'm sure of it. And you killed her.
Prove it.
I'll go to the police in Paris.
Go on, then. Unless you can produce Elizabeth Corbin's body, which you can't, you'll never prove this girl here isn't your wife.
They'll find her body, and you'll die for it, all of you. You killed her. She's dead.
Yes, your wife is dead, Corbin.
Murdered?
Murdered, but where is her body?
Murdered.
Where is her body, Corbin?
They'll find it.
Where is it?
They'll search the woods out there.
The body.
The rocks. They'll drag the rivers.
The body.
They'll find it.
Where's the body?
They'll find it.
Where's her body, Corbin?
In the gorge of the forest of Chamois.
No.
Thank you, Corbett. I've been waiting since yesterday morning to hear that.
No.
You must have thought me stupid not to smell a rat when a rich woman disappears leaving her husband a sole heir. 3 days after you reported your wife's desertion, the body of a woman was pulled from the Chamois Gorge, and Nurse Beton identified your wife.
Oh, no.
An accident? Hardly. Her skull was beaten to pulp. I could have arrested you on suspicion of murder at any time. But suspicions aren't proof, and I needed your confession. Oh, you were a cool one, I will say that. You acted your role to perfection. Anyway, we decided to set a trap for you. Oh, may I introduce Chief Inspector Taquet? I thought he made an excellent Father Maximum, didn't you? And then Mademoiselle Stephanie as your wife.
No.
Incidentally, Melouche nearly upset our apple cart. But in the end, he was most amused at being shot at by a blank cartridge. Not to mention all the free drinks he had.
He's not dead.
Of course not. However, out of all the tricks and lies and inventions we made to get you, one thing was true. I made you a promise. I said that by 8 o'clock tonight you would be safely locked up, Corbin. And by heavens, you will be.
Would you believe that a deodorant could help you look good? The newest Shield aerosol deodorant has something very special. The unique Stay Dry formula that keeps you dry, keeps you looking cool, crisp and confident, even in today's flimsiest fashions. And Shield's extra dry spray will never sting or burn your skin, even if you use Shield right after your bath. So slip into something comfortable. Slip into the deodorant that helps you look good. The newest Shield aerosol with Stay Dry.
Lovely, fresh as a daisy, dewy-eyed. That's international film star Elke Sommer. Sunflower by day, exotic moonflower by night. Vivacious Elke Sommer. How does Elke Sommer retain this 24-hour radiance?
It's Lux Beauty Soap. I use it for lots of reasons. It's pretty shape. It's lovely perfume. Doesn't it remind you of Paris? And most of all, I love the care it gives my complexion. You see, the lather is so pure and mild and gentle. I'd like every woman to use Lux.
Remember, Lux, it's the complexion care of the stars.
In tonight's presentation of Trap for a Lonely Man by Robert Thomas, the part of Daniel Corbin was played by Don Ridgway, with Fred Stone as the inspector and Maureen Adair as the woman. As the priest, you heard Ian Hamilton. Others in the cast were Reg Richards and Dacia Charlesty. Trap for a Lonely Man was produced for Lux Radio Theatre by Anne Freed and directed by Henry Diffenthal.
Good evening. This is Peter Tobin introducing Lux Radio Theatre. Tonight and every Monday night at this time, Lux Radio Theatre presents for your entertainment the finest in radio drama. Tonight we present Non-Stop to Victoria by Glenn Hamilton. It tells the tale of a young woman traveling alone on a fast train from Brighton to London, and of her strange and unexpected companion in a first-class compartment. A prosaic backdrop to a bizarre and terrifying situation. Listen in a few moments to Non-Stop to Victoria, produced for Lux Radio Theatre by Victor Mackerson and directed by David Madley.
When famous star Ursula Andress walks in, even a crowded Hollywood restaurant falls silent. She's been called the most beautiful girl in the world. And I happen to know that she cares for that marvelous complexion with Lux Beauty Soap.
Yes, Lux, always. I love Lux because it's so mild and pure and gentle. It's the mildest soap I know, and I just adore such perfume.
Ursula Andress, a famous star with a fabulous complexion. Why not do as she does and care for your complexion with Lux?
You love Lux.
Look, Mom, no filling.
Lucky boy. But then your mother sees that you brush regularly with new Pepsodent, the toothpaste of which a leading dental authority says...
Brushing with new Pepsodent removes the biggest cause of tooth decay, the dangerous dulling film.
So make sure you and your family brush regularly with new Pepsodent and help keep your teeth white, healthy, and free from decay. Then you'll know the happy feeling of hearing your child say...
Look, Mom, no filling.
For you and your family, new Pepsodent safeguards against decay.
And now, Act One of tonight's Lux Radio Theatre presentation, Non-Stop to Victoria.
Hurry along there. Hurry along, please. Non-stop to Victoria. Hurry along. Close them doors, please. Close them doors. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this the London train?
Of course it is. Non-stop Victoria. Leaving right now.
Oh, wait, please.
Dear, I'll need it up then. You got half a second. First door you come to, hop in. Can't expect the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway to wait all night for one person, you know.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had such trouble in getting here.
Well, you're here now. And you'll still be here half an hour from now, waiting for another train if you don't hop it right smartly. I'm going to blow me whistle right now, and that's it.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I won't be a moment.
Better not be, miss. Right, George!
Oh, forgive me for bursting in like that on you.
If you hadn't, in all likelihood, you'd have missed the train.
I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. Do sit down. The train's starting to sway already. You can't be comfortable standing there like that.
Thank you. Oh, what's that? Paper pasted on the window just by my seat. This compartment reserved from Brighton to Victoria. Train for 9:08 non-stop. And the date. Today's date. Oh, my goodness. Sir, this compartment is reserved for you.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, and I burst in upon your privacy, and after you've paid extra for it and everything.
Oh, please, you mustn't think of it. It's no aggravation for me.
I would change to another seat in another compartment at the next station. Only
the next station will be Victoria, the end of the line. This is, after all, a non-stop train.
Yes, you're right.
Therefore, we must make the best of the situation, mustn't we? However, I repeat, I'm in no way put out by your, intrusion. On the contrary, I rather welcome it.
I really don't want to interrupt you or interfere or anything like that.
I assure you, you don't and won't. There's no reason at all why we can't pass a pleasant hour together now that we're here, as it were, compelled to each other's company, is there?
Well, no.
We can talk, or be silent, or anything you like.
I'm not much of a conversationalist, I'm afraid.
Splendid! I've enough chatter and anecdote for the pair of us. I'm an unquenchable enthusiast and egotist. It shall be my pleasure to entertain you, then. To cater to your whim and your wish. To fill your mind with visions of wine and peacocks, gold moidores, and the afternoon wind that churns dust devils upon the arid faces of eastern deserts. Is the thought not stimulating? It's settled, then. It's settled. The hour shall pass like the wind, even as our famous train rushes through the night. She goes well, too. Look here, through my window. We've already passed Preston Park Station. And there are the village lights of Petcham winking down there below the rails. Whoops! Suddenly they're blotted out. What's that? A greater darkness. A greater roar from the iron wheels, beating back from wet brick walls. Do you know this line well?
Not too well.
I've traveled back and forth from London to Brighton on occasion.
I know every inch of it, my dear. Every inch. I must have traveled this line 100 times, perhaps 1,000. Yes.
That must have been very, very pleasant for you.
Every sleeper, every wheel click in the rail joints, every rumble of crossover points, every station with its flare of lemon gaslight racing past in the bright darkness. I always travel on the non-stop at night. The sound and the motion excite me, thrill me. I love to see the rush through the length of a station. The blur of hunched, disappointed faces huddled into chilled, coated shoulders, facing the interminable wait until the signals turn green once more, and the humble, apologetic stopping train chops in, shamefaced to pick them up. While I rush triumphant through the dark. It's exhilarating.
Must be. You have a liking for speed?
I have a liking for many things. Speed is but one of them. But I confess I do enjoy this 50-mile stretch of the railway. And I know it intimately, right down to its most humble fish plate. Yes.
Ah, there you are, you see. You must be a perfectionist, sir. I don't even know what a fish plate is.
And every nut, every bolt, every ballast stone upon this right-of-way, all have their history. Did you know that?
I'm sure they do have, but I didn't know it.
Did you know that even now we're rapidly approaching a place of great history and tragedy upon the London, Brighton, and South Coast Permanent Way? Did you? Did you hear that rattle of the wheels just now? Feel the whole train sway slightly?
I did notice something. What?
Those were the crossover points 1 mile south of the Clayton Tunnel. Those points were the key to the greatest tragedy this railway company has ever known.
What happened?
There. There, did you see that flicker of light going by out there in the darkness?
Yes.
Well, that's where it all began. There, in the signal box, lost in the chalk gloom down here in the great pike and cutting. That's where.
Where or what began? What are you speaking of?
13 years ago it was. The winter of 1887. One of those cold, wet, miserable nights when the southwest gales, beating up the channel, drive the rain in sheets across the downs. And down there, alone in that signal box, warmed by his coke stove, surfeited with strong tea and kippers from his old blackened frying pan, lulled into drowsiness by the mesmeric beat of the rain upon the slate roof. One man. Just one man.
What happened to him? Was he murdered?
Murdered? He? Now, why of all things would you ask me that? No, nothing happened to him. Nothing at all.
Then what is the point of all this?
Picture it. Picture it in your mind if you can. 15 minutes before, a locomotive coming up from Brighton had been sent onto the down line from London. He had performed this deed upon receipt of orders from Brighton over the telegraph. The worthy signalman did as he was bidden and returned to his skipper. The locomotive steamed through the tunnel and into Hassocks a few minutes later, where it was shunted immediately off the down line and into the siding, where it went peacefully about the task of putting together its little local goods train.
What is the point of all this? What are you trying to tell me?
My dear, a story worth telling is worth telling well, is it not? And I have a great head for details. I should like you to hear them all. Do I have your attention?
Yes.
I'm so glad. Our worthy signalman. Picture him under the gaslight, engrossed with a kipper and an enamel mug of tea. And in the dimness, at one end of his signal box...
Oh, stop!
But why, dear? Why?
You're going to tell me something awful, I know it. Something terrible was going to happen.
No, my dear. The terrible thing had already happened.
What do you mean?
There, in the dimness, beyond his immediate range of vision, the great steel lever with which the signalman had opened the points so that the locomotive could change onto the down line for its brief journey, lay opened where the man had left it. He forgot about it entirely.
What happened?
Hard upon the heels of the locomotive came a night goods train to London Bridge. It rattled by the signal box, came to the points, and was shunted onto the down line. There was, even at that moment, rushing through Hassocks towards Brighton, a late express from Victoria, a non-stop running upon the down line. Oh. Suddenly, for some reason he never subsequently explained, the signalman rushed to the lever, saw the position it was in, and stood in helpless horror, glaring up the line through the tearing night rain. He stood, poised upon toes in horror, and heard the awful tearing smash a mile and a half away as the two trains met head-on in the cold, sooty darkness.
Oh, how awful. Unbelievable.
But true. Oh, there were very few survivors of the Clayton Tunnel disaster. A few badly shaken passengers and the guards from the rear of both trains.
I see what you meant earlier about the line having a history. But such tragedy.
Well, at least, touch wood, there shall be no recurrence of it this night, on this train.
Oh, I hope not.
Rest assured. In the relating of the story, we've long since passed through Clayton Tunnel. The train is going famously, is it not?
Very fast, yes.
And was I not right? The time, too, with stimulating conversation, rushes past as if upon gilded wings.
Your description seems a little elaborate, but true.
There was an interesting sequel to the Clayton Tunnel disaster that moved it, for myself at least, into the realm of bizarre coincidence.
Really? What was it?
Quite unwittingly, I became tied, connected, as it were, to the circumstances of the collision.
How extraordinary. Would it be polite to inquire?
Of course it would. I hoped you'd ask me that. It's far more than polite. It's most acceptable that you should ask me.
I'm so glad.
I was a lad, just 15 at the time of the accident, living happily with my parents upon our estate in Hampshire. And when the accident occurred, there was among the passengers on the down train a man by the name of Burgess Felsham.
You know, there's something quite familiar about that name. What could it be?
I think in a few moments, if you'll give me time to complete my story, you'll recognize the name more readily.
Please go on.
Thank you. I shall. Felsham was nearing the end of a fairly lengthy train journey that had brought him from Lincolnshire across London and was carrying him to Brighton. Within 8 miles of the completion of his rail journey from the eastern counties, Burgess Felsham was killed instantly when the two trains collided in Clayton Tunnel.
Poor man, how horrible for him.
Yes, not a few people were saddened and put out by Felsham's untimely demise. Not the least of whom were those who waited for him upon the arrivals platform at Brighton.
His family, his friends. Oh, yes, I can imagine how ghastly they must have felt about it.
Actually, no. Among his family and his considerable circle of friends, there was a feeling almost akin to relief when the news emerged.
Whatever do you mean? How can you say that?
The people waiting for Burgess Felsham at Brighton Station were considerably shocked and put out by the news, although Felsham, in truth, could count no friend nor relative among them.
Why? Who were they?
The Brighton police, my dear. A particularly large detachment.
The police? Whatever for?
They were waiting for good old Burgess, you see. Waiting to take him in charge, arrest him, stick him in the nick, is the expression used, I believe.
What had he done?
Nothing small, my dear. No, not by any means. Nothing less than murder.
Murder?
And not on a small scale either. Several of them. Many of them, in fact. Oh, yes. The police were keen to get hold of Felsham. They'd been on his tail for some time. Oh, Burgess knew it, too. That's why he was leaving the country so hastily. Yes. Burgess Felsham had been slipshod. Very naughty in his ways. And really, he deserved to be caught. But the last laugh was his. By the strange series of events that led up to the Clayton Tunnel disaster, he slipped out of the net once and for all. Rather drastically, perhaps, but certainly beyond redemption. Better for him, really. Better, I should imagine, to suffer one's demise thus, rather than kicking at the end of a length of stout English hemp.
But it's horrible. Horrible. What kind of murders did he do?
Young girls. He used to strangle them. That's all.
That's all?
What can one say, really? Burgess Felsham was mad. Complete and incurable maniac. His madness drove him to murder.
But he should have been detained in an asylum, being
No, he
treated.
was, yes, several times in appropriate institutions. But in due course, he was always released, apparently cured. Once free, it was never long before he returned to his old ways.
How can you treat it so lightly? The whole affair is horrible, to say nothing of pitiable. And yet to hear you speak of it, it sounds as if you're amused by it.
I must admit, I always admired old Burgess, dotty as he was. He was a decent old stick when he wasn't off about his funny ways, and he was always most kind to me. So when he dodged the police so well, and so, finally, I confess I did find it rather amusing. Come to think of it, I still do.
You knew this man?
Oh, yes, very well.
How well did you know him?
Best possible circumstances. Burgess Felsham was my cousin. As a matter of fact, of all the members of our family alive today, he and I could be said to be the most alike. In every way.
What are you saying?
I always admired the old boy. As a child, unconsciously, I used to imitate him in every way possible. And since shortly after his death, you might say I've more or less taken up where he left off.
You mean?
And done very well at it, too. Well, I've been copped a few times, of course. But a little treatment at a very good private sanatorium in Brighton has always seemed to set matters right. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process right now of returning from one of these remedial periods.
You mean you killed people?
Oh, yes. Several. That's why I was so pleased when you got in here tonight.
Surely you don't mean to kill me?
That was Balcombe we just passed through. 20 minutes from Brighton. I say, this is a good train, isn't it? Running right on the nose. Another 40 minutes to Victoria. Splendid. What did you just ask me, my dear?
I asked you if you mean to kill me.
I must admit the idea has been passing back and forth through my mind. And with each pass, it grows more attractive in prospect. Yes, my dear, I think I shall. Somewhere between here and Victoria, I think, if you don't mind, I shall strangle you.
Mrs. X and Mrs. Y are the women in this case. Mrs. X, you are alleged to clean your sink and no more.
Well, I...
Do you kill germs?
I'm not sure.
Is your sink hygienically clean?
Well, maybe it is.
Precisely. Mrs. Y, you use Vim 99?
Yes, I do.
You get your sink sparkling clean and kill 99% of household germs?
That's correct. You see, only Vim 99 contains powerful germ-killing microbans.
So Vim 99 gets your sink, pots and pans, bath and stove hygienically clean. 99% germ-free?
Correct.
Ladies of the jury, what is your verdict?
By Vim 99.
What is a mother? A mother is a friend, a comforter, and a tucker-in of shirt-tails. She's the one who makes the meals, darns the socks, and tells the bedtime story. When it comes to looking after her family, that's when a mother's care really shows. When she chooses new Radion with Sunflex, because she knows new Radion has the miracle of Sunflex to keep on whitening to the end of the wash. It makes the care a mother takes worthwhile. New Radion with Sunflex washes whiter, and it shows.
Who are you?
I'm also a Felsham. Graham Felsham. Possibly you wouldn't know of me under that particular name.
Felsham, I do know that name, I do.
I'm sure you do.
You're only joking with me, aren't you? Nothing more. It's just a horrible joke. You wouldn't really kill me.
You know, my dear, as I look at you now, I almost wish that I was joking with you. It really does seem a shame, doesn't it?
Then why do it?
Because I must.
But why? Why?
Well, you see, it's just something that happens to me. I'm quite dotty, you know. It's been acknowledged by some of the best men in that field in the land. It's what you call a compulsion of sorts. Yes, that's it. I have a compulsion to kill. And really, I can't control it.
But you could. You can. I've been watching you, listening to you. You have very good control of yourself.
Actually, it may seem that way. But under this apparently calm exterior, I positively seethe. It's your neck, you see.
My neck?
Yes, that's it, your neck. It's unfortunate. If you were some revolting, wizened harridan, or one of those pale, gross young creatures that one sees so sickeningly often, it would be easy to spurn you with a contempt that you would deserve. Notwithstanding my slightly irregular background, I'm a very particular man. You must understand that. It's important.
I can't understand you. This is awful. It must be a dream.
I'm afraid not. Let me tell you about your neck. Have you no idea what it's like? How glorious it is. Can you not imagine the attraction? The fatal attraction it would have for a man like you?
No, I can't. Oh, stop it. I beg you, please. Please.
You hold your head proudly.
This is cruel. It is. Oh, can't you stop?
Unfortunately, no. That's the one thing I can't do. Oh, but please, let me tell you about your neck. So sad, really, that there's been no chance for an evaluation of its exquisite beauty until now, when it's almost too late. Or perhaps there has been a previous evaluation of it.
There's been none before. Ever.
Splendid, my dear. Splendid. It is fitting under the circumstances that it should fall to me, then, to be the one to do the job. Oh, I say, that was thoughtless of me. What an insensitive thing to say. Do the job, indeed. How you must feel the blow of that.
Just now, suddenly, I see that you're insane. Either insane or a very good actor. An extraordinary actor. Somehow, the latter is too much to expect.
Hope should spring eternal, I'm told.
No. Suddenly, I have this feeling that you're not joking about this. There's the strangest feeling moving in me.
What is that?
One almost of disassociation. As if really I'm not here. And it doesn't matter very much.
You feel that, eh? Bizarre. It would not have occurred to me that a mind so attacked could have responded in such a manner. You're depressed, my dear. That's it. Depressed by the prospect.
Yes, I suppose I am. Can you blame me?
A very fair question, to which I can only answer, not really. You're facing a violent death in a matter of minutes, or even of seconds from now, depending upon my whim and choosing. Yet you react in this strange manner.
How have the others reacted?
Oh, in a variety of ways. But yours is the least expected and the most bizarre behavior of all. I wonder if your mood will endure until the ultimate moment.
We'll have to see, won't we? You described the others. There have been many.
Very many. But not yet, it seems, enough. You are depressed, aren't you? Perhaps it would cheer you up if I went on talking about your lovely neck. After all, a woman and her vanity. Is it not true?
Go on with your cruelty. You must.
But it's not cruelty. Indeed, no. I mean genuinely what I say about your beauty. And in particular that of your neck. It's white, columnar, and graceful. Simple, proud, rather long. Don't do that!
What?
I saw the way you looked. The way you looked at the alarm cord. You were going to spring at it, weren't you? You were going to pull it. Stop the train. Try to evade the fate I've chosen for you in that way.
I wasn't.
Don't lie to me! You were going to give the alarm. But it wouldn't help you. Not at all.
If I stopped the train, you wouldn't dare to touch me.
You think not, my dear? Then you're an imbecile, do you hear me? If you pull that alarm cord, you'll be doing me a service. Can't you see that?
How can you believe that?
Have you considered the speed at which our train is rushing through the night? Look already, we're past Hawley. We're close to Red Hill. There are only the tunnels through the North Downs to be passed, and we'll be on the very threshold of London. Now, have you taken into account, in view of the speed, just how long it will take to actually stop the train if you pull that cord?
No.
Even with the finest brakes in the world, it takes time to stop hundreds of tons of steel and wood like this. Quite enough time for me to administer the coup de grace to you and to escape into the night once the train has come to a halt.
What would be the point of your escape? You would soon be captured.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. Although we're close to London, we're not far from the coast. My chances of escape to France would be very good, with the element of time and surprise on my side.
Your cousin thought that as well, you tell me. But they were waiting for him at Brighton.
Still he escaped.
He died.
He escaped, I tell you! He eluded them! Anyway, my dear, do you think I fear death? I, who have dealt in death so long?
I wonder if you'll think in that way when they take you out into the prison guard to hang you. They do hang for the crime of murder in England, you know.
I am well aware of it. But they won't hang me. I'm a certified lunatic.
You told me that Burgess Felsham was mad, too. You also told me that the law was prepared to hang him for his crimes.
It was distinctly possible in poor old Burgess's case. Yes. In mine, I'd be inclined to disagree. If anything, to the contrary.
How can you be so sure?
It's not difficult to foretell. Burgess was only a cousin, from a branch of the family lacking influence in the land. My case is a different one. I am the son of one of England's most prominent families, and that makes a considerable difference.
You've committed murder. You'll hang.
Don't you think they could have hanged me 12 times already if they'd been so inclined? Every case was proven, and there was no defense. Oh, no, my dear. Don't pin your hopes upon any judge or lord of the land donning the black cap on my behalf. It would be like all the other times. Family pressures will be exerted in the right places at the right times. Everything will be hushed up very discreetly.
Oh. And you? Where would you be?
I? Why, I should make another journey on the non-stop to Brighton.
You do what?
Isn't it delightful? But true as well. I would be discreetly whisked back to the quiet sanatorium on Marine Parade, where I would pass the prescribed period in considerable comfort and not in considerable boredom. Then, in due course, cured and penitent, I would come quietly home again, even as I'm doing now, to the welcoming arms of my saddened but eternally forgiving mother, to the thunderous silences of my gout-stricken father, and the sidelong glances of my slightly mystified and rather envious elder brothers.
This is not the Dark Ages. These are modern time England, the year 1900. These things can't happen in enlightened times.
Don't depend upon it, my dear. If you have the right influence and enough money, and rest assured, we do have, you can make anything happen, can create any age to suit your taste.
You say this has happened in all your previous cases?
In all of them.
Tell me about them. What did you do?
Are you trying to play me for time, my dear? Is that it?
I want to know. And I want to know why.
Do you see the lights of Red Hill going by out there? Is that it? Despite your claim not to be expert upon the London to Brighton line, do you know that we are scant minutes now from Purley and Croydon? From Thornton Heath, Clapham Junction, the river approaches, and a slowing run across the steel bridge into the great cavern of Victoria. Is that it?
Tell me about it.
I shall. Your incredible nerve and courage merit such small consideration.
Tell me.
Oh, not all of them. No, we really don't have time enough for that. I shall indeed tell you of the first, which for pure, unsullied experience was by far the finest, and in view of my personal involvement, definitely the most satisfying. And I shall tell you of the last time, the only time I've ever failed. Do you realize, my dear, that night in the fog upon Clapham Common, if I had succeeded, it's a certainty that you would never have come to be in the position you are in this evening. Odd, isn't it, how fate actually does seem to play into one's hands. Oh, what's that? Ah, yes, I can see. The first of the long tunnels leading us into Coulston. We're under the North Downs already, my dear. What a splendid train. I shall write a letter to the company, I think. It's most commendable. London in just a little while now. We really don't have much time, do we? And I do want you to derive the maximum benefit from my little stories. If you're comfortable there in your corner, perhaps we can proceed. Thank you, my dear. I was going to tell you of my first and finest, wasn't I? Sublime experience. One that you, for all your exquisite loveliness, will not be able to live up to. What's the pity? It happened when I was 17. Just 2 years after poor Burgess had gone off along his troubled way through the next world. It was on our estate, a little milkmaid, sweet and pleasing. My first true love, I believe, in the days of my innocence. But she showed a side of her nature that was both stupid and overly ambitious. It was then that I knew I would have to do away with her. And when she threatened me, well, you can understand, my dear. That was the end, wasn't it?
Graham, I've got to talk to you. Oh, Graham, stop it. Stop playing around and listen to me.
What would you tell me, my dove?
I don't know how to say it to you, to put it into words like. It's not easy, and it's not nice what you've done to me.
Oh, come now, dearest. I'm here. You have my undivided and sympathetic attention. You needn't guard your words with me. You know that. So tell me, what is this awful thing that I've done to you?
Oh, Graham, you are sweet to me. All right, I'll try. It's not easy, but I'll try. I know you'll understand.
Of course I will. Go on, girl.
Oh, Graham.
Yes, what is it?
Well, there's no need to bark at me. I was just going to tell you. I'm going to have a baby. Your baby, Graham.
I see.
Well, is that all you've got to say about it? Just, I see? Then you sit there smiling and staring up in the sky?
I'm sorry, dearest. I was just thinking about this. It is momentous news, you know.
Well, I don't want you just to think about it. I want you to tell me, and tell me quick, what you're planning on doing about it.
That's precisely what I am doing. Planning.
There didn't ought to be no need to think about it. It's plain and simple. Well, I haven't been going with no one else. Only you. I love you, and you say you love me. Well, if that's true, there's only one right and proper thing to do as I see it.
And what's that? You tell me.
You've got to marry me, that's what. Like you said before. And I shouldn't have to be the one to say it. You should ask me proper.
That's it, Sally, darling. That's it. I was hoping you'd say that. Suggest it to me. It clarifies everything for me. It makes it all so wonderfully simple for me.
Oh, you mean it's all right? You do it like you said?
And not like I said, Sally. Let's rather put it this way. It will be done like I say.
Oh, Graham, my dear. I knew you'd do right by me. I knew you was a gentleman. You couldn't let me down, could you?
No, darling. I couldn't possibly let you down. However, I need a little time to think this out.
What do you mean you'll need time? It's already settled. We are getting married, you and me.
Of course we are. But you must remember my family.
Just because I'm a farm girl I suppose I'm not good enough for old Lord and Lady Muckamuck up at the Hall. Is that it? Although, seems to me I'm good enough for their son.
But you must understand, we'll have to be delicate about this. The news will shock the family, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, that's just too bad for them. You should have thought about that before you done what you did.
It takes two, you know.
Oh, Graham!
Oh, calm down, dearest. If we're going to succeed at what we both want, we're going to have to be devious about it. That's why I'm asking you for time, until tonight at least, to devise a plan.
Oh, well, all right. But just until tonight, mind. Then I want to know how we're going to go about it.
Tonight, you'll know all about it. Usual time, usual place.
I'll be there, Graham.
Just slip out quietly. Don't let anyone know that you're going. We must be.
Just like that, you killed that poor girl in cold blood.
I suppose you could put it that way, yes. Or rather, I prefer to think that Sally departed this life at its happiest moment. She was very happy when we met, you know. Well, I did it very quickly. She could hardly have suffered at all.
What a cruel monster you are.
You could be right. There's something to do with maladjustment, I suppose. It's possible I didn't howl the devil out of me hard enough on the day of my birth.
And that girl came to you in all innocence. You killed her.
Yes. When I got back to our rendezvous at 9 o'clock, she was already waiting for me. Feeling a sick headache, I'd retired early. But it was ridiculously easy to slip away from the house. I was certain I wouldn't be gone more than 15 minutes at the outside. Sally? Sally, are you there?
Over here. Just inside the gate.
Hang on. I'm coming.
Oh, Graham, you're late. I was so worried. I thought something must have gone wrong.
Nothing's ever going to go wrong for us again, Sally.
Oh, Graham, my dear. Did you work out a plan for us?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Tell me.
I'll do better than that, Sally. I'll show you.
Oh, Graham, what you trying to do? Why are you holding me like that?
Be still, can't you?
No, Graham! No! No! It's hurting!
You made a bad mistake, Sally. You signed your own death warrant when you threatened me.
Mrs. X and Mrs. Y are the women in this case. Mrs. X, you are alleged to clean your sink and no more.
Well, I...
Do you kill germs?
I'm not sure.
Is your sink hygienically clean?
Well, maybe it is.
Precisely. Mrs. Y, you use Vim 99?
Yes, I do.
You get your sink sparkling clean and kill 99% of household germs?
That's correct. You see, only Vim 99 contains powerful germ-killing microbans.
So Vim 99 gets your sink, pots and pans, bath and stove hygienically clean. 99% germ-free?
Correct.
Ladies of the jury, what is your verdict?
By Vim 99.
Look who's here. The girl in black. She never worries about dandruff. She uses Clinic, the anti-dandruff shampoo with the formula that gives between shampoo protection. She can wear black and comb her hair, and there's never a sign of dandruff. The girl in black uses Clinic.
Give dandruff the Clinic treatment, and it's gone.
And you were never suspected? Even later?
Apparently never. There was never a question asked me about the whole affair subsequently.
What of your recent failure? Didn't you say something about Clapham Common?
Oh, yes. Yes, that was a bad business. But I was overcome, you see. I was overcome upon the instant.
Was it a woman?
If you could call that kind of a creature a woman, yes.
What kind?
You know what kind. What kind of a woman would be upon the streets of Clapham in a fog at night alone? I saw her, as I walked up beneath a street lamp.
Hello, mister. Where you going then, eh?
I'm walking alone and content with the arrangement.
You wouldn't feel like a bit of company then.
I would not.
You talks like a gent. But under the skin, you're all the same. I wouldn't wonder if you and me could have a nice time. Visit a few pubs. It's cold out here. You shouldn't be walking around alone. Come on, be a bit matey, and I'll keep you company.
I've already told you that I prefer my own company. Here, hold on. What's this? The wretch had actually linked arms with me and was attempting to walk along in my company.
So you attacked her?
I was berserk. To be accosted by such a creature was bad enough. But to have her odious company actually forced upon me, that was too much. I seized her by the throat, determined in that instant to put pay to her once and for all.
Yeah. What you up to? Let go me throat. Let go. Let go. Ow! Ow! Please.
I'll teach you to accost me. You'll never have the chance to further your aims again, I promise you. I'll kill you.
Help me, somebody. Anybody, help. I'm getting mad.
She fought me like a mad thing, and she was amazingly strong. Despite my best efforts, I was not able to prevail quickly. I'd almost decided to let the wretch live and make off hot foot when the matter was taken out of my hands completely.
Help me. Oh, help me. Police. Murder. Oh, it's Jack the Ripper. He's got me. I know it's him. Help.
I released that awful creature and ran away into the fog. But my luck had deserted me. I blundered right into the arms of the police, great heavy-booted yokels, who in their numbers soon quelled me. I was taken to Clapham police station, questioned and charged with assault with attempt to cause, as the ponderous sergeant described it, grievous bodily harm.
And what happened after that?
I have declined firmly, under all probing, to give my name and address. And there were, upon my person, no papers to give me away. But during the night, lying sleepless in a police cell, a fit of mischief came upon me. I decided to reveal myself.
No, what are you causing all this here fuss about, eh?
I have reached a grave decision, Sergeant.
Oh, you have you? Well, now, that's interesting. And what may it be?
I have decided to reveal my identity to you.
Very kind of you, I'm sure. Just tell us what your name is so as I can write it down and you can stop giving us all this bother.
Certainly, Sergeant. My name is Graham Felsham.
Graham Felsham. All right, now we'll have a... Here, wait a sec. You having me on, are you? You say you're Graham Felsham?
One and the same, Sergeant. At your service.
Not that Graham Felsham.
You do me honor, Sergeant. But as you so succinctly put it, I am indeed that Graham Felsham.
Struth, this is getting a bit too much for me. Here, isn't there someone we can call in about this here?
Oh, I'm sure there is. If you'll simply copy down this address and dispatch a handsome cab with a note that I shall write in the care of one of your constables, sound advice can be yours within the hour. I, of course, will be more than willing to bear the costs of these enterprises.
To whom did you send the note?
To the address of one of the family solicitors in Temple Bar.
And the result?
Exactly as I could have foretold. Within 30 minutes, I was released into the care and custody of the solicitor and transported to his chambers. Everything was hushed up and the family name protected.
And you went back to Brighton?
Precisely. And there passed a restful and restorative 6 months. Rather strange coincidence, eh?
What are you talking about?
Do you realize that as we wound up the story of my misadventure in Clapham, the train most appropriately tore through Clapham Junction Station. And this strengthens my resolve.
What do you mean?
It seems only fitting that I should achieve another outstanding success, almost within shouting distance of the place where my one shameful failure occurred. In such a way, I can redeem myself.
You can't really be serious that you can kill me here when we're actually arriving at Victoria.
But why not, my dear? It's most appropriate, isn't it? So close to Clapham. How well that solves my still wounded pride. And with the bridge coming up to us in the night, how easy it will be to throw your freshly dead body from the train window and into the black swirl of the river. Oh, come. You do see it my way, don't you? You must see it my way. What recourse do I have? I promise you, you have my word of honor as a gentleman. It will not hurt you.
No, you mustn't. You cannot.
You feel virtually nothing, my dear. Just a slight pressure about your neck. Then it's over. So quickly. Come on now. The train's slowing. There's no time left.
Oh, listen to me, I beg you. Oh, can't you spare me? Let me live. Oh, let me step down from this train alive. But Victoria, I'll go away from you at once. I'll forget everything that has passed between us tonight. I won't say a word, I promise you. I won't complain, but please, oh, please, let me live. Don't kill me. I've done you no harm, and I won't. Just let me go.
You tempt me, you know. When I weigh this coolly, dispassionately, I find that I do not really want to kill you. But I'm driven on. Don't you see? And there's nothing, absolutely nothing that I can do about this thing. And after all, how can I depend upon your word? Once your relief of being left alive is past, and you regain your balance, anger and indignation must inevitably follow hard upon their heels.
I gave you my word. I wouldn't break it. You're a gentleman, despite your sickness. You know the value of the given word. Oh, but first of all, I beg you. I beg you, don't kill me. Oh, don't kill me.
But it's time. You see, this is the time. And I have to know. I have to know about you. All about you. To the very last moment. The very last moment, you see. Only a few seconds more. You feel it. Feel it. The train. Slowly. Slowly beneath our feet. The grind of brakes against the steel wheels. And there, just ahead, the bridge. The city. The dark flow of the Thames. And beyond, the great lit mouth of Victoria Station. Just over on the other side. It's time, my dear. Our time together has run out. The closing seconds. And... oh, believe me. I'm so sorry. But it has to be done. It has to be done.
Victoria, this is Victoria. All change, please. All change, dear. All change.
Perhaps you'd better step down now, my dear.
Victoria, can you stop here beneath the bright light? Stop. And there are all those people.
Inevitable as fate that it should stop. The line ends here, you see.
You let me live. You didn't kill me after all. You let me live. Oh, you couldn't do it, could you? You see, there is kindness in you after all. You're not as ill as you believe you are. You could be helped properly. Because you could do it.
That is so. I couldn't do it.
Oh, thank you. And I made a promise to you. You see, I'll keep it. I won't betray you to anyone, not a soul. I promise.
We'll see.
Good evening, your lordship. Nice to see you home again, nice and safe. You have a nice holiday, sir?
Good evening, Shaw. Good to be back. A passable time. Not at all bad, thanks.
Excuse me, miss, if you don't mind. I have to get by you. Help his lordship.
His lordship?
That's right, miss.
Help? How must you help?
Shaw is my man, my dear. He has to carry me from this corner to my wheelchair out there on the platform. I'm a complete cripple, you see.
You're a cripple?
I'm afraid so. Didn't you see the rug around my knees?
And you couldn't...
Attacked you? Never. Quite impossible. You could have pushed me away effortlessly with one of your small gloved hands.
And why did you plan to...
What's this, miss? Has his lordship been having you on a bit then, eh?
Having me on?
Shaw knows me of old, my dear. I have something of a reputation as a practical joker.
You look upon it as a joke, then, to subject a person to such a shocking experience as that I have undergone in your company.
What did I say of anger and indignation following hard upon the heels of relief? You made me a promise, you know. Your silence in return for your life.
This certainly puts a different complexion upon things.
Would you please tell me your name?
Why should I?
Please. It's very important that I should know.
Well, it's Villiers. Miss Mary Villiers.
And if I may ask further, your occupation, your profession?
I'm an actress.
Ah, I should have known. It was so self-evident. Oh, really? The joke is on me, then.
I don't see how
Miss
that...
Villiers, here is my card. Please look at it while Shaw carries me to my wheelchair. Then, if you could join us for the short walk along the platform, I'd be most grateful.
Here we are, then, your lordship. Sir Daisy.
Thank you.
Easy does it. Excuse me, miss.
Lord Fearsham, author, poet, playwright. 11 Cavendish Mews, W1.
If you're ready, Miss Villiers.
Then will you please tell me? I have to know what was the purpose of this cruel and pointless deception.
Cruel? Yes. Pointless? I think not. In actual fact, we played out a trial on an idea I have for a new play. A play which I now intend to set upon paper, thanks to you and your most encouraging performance tonight, Miss Villiers.
A play?
Yes. I roughed it out in my mind while I was at Brighton. I was planning to write it anyway. Your arrival in my compartment this evening touched off the idea of trying out the plot of it to see if it would hold water. I must say, I'm quite satisfied.
But this is unspeakable.
Yes, it was rather naughty, wasn't it? Something came over me. A sense of wicked mischief, you might say. You could almost call it a compulsion.
Oh, please. Not that. Not again.
Sorry, my dear. Tell me, are you employed right now?
At the moment, no.
Your being an actress is another of those delightful coincidences that add such sparkle to life. In view of my circumstances, I have to find that sparkle in bizarre ways. I wonder, would you be interested in the part?
The part?
When my play is written and goes into production, would you be interested in reading for the part of the young woman in the train?
Just as we've done tonight?
Precisely. I owe you something for what you've been through. As an actress, a leading part in one of my plays could further your career considerably. If you will forgive my seeming boast. My reputation is extensive in the field.
I'm aware of that. Now I know why. I don't think I could go through all that again.
Familiarity should, I'm sure, breed contempt. You do famously, you know. And you already know the part rather well.
Well... Actually, it would be lovely.
Good girl. It's settled then. The part will be yours. You have my word on it. Please hold yourself in readiness. And keep my card so that you'll know where to get in touch with me.
What will you call this play?
It occurred to me a good title would be Non-Stop to Victoria.
Very appropriate.
Say you'll forgive me. There'll be no recurrence.
Please. All right. You're forgiven. This once.
Splendid. Well, we must leave you here, I'm afraid, but we'll be in touch with you. Is there an address?
They have a forwarding address for me at the Empire Theatre.
Good. You'll hear from me within a week. Good night, Miss Villiers. And thank you for a most diverting journey.
Good night.